There we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Dean. This is the show. We're here. It's after Christmas. It's our first post-Christmas program. I took a few days off of Twitter and social media in the world of doing all this crap. And it was very, very much needed because I got really sick of doing it. And that's just me being honest. I'm just really tired of fucking talking to people about things. Now I'm fucking good. That's kind of the thing, right? Like, you take care of yourself. You take a few days off at Christmas. We're going to get to that. We got the COVID Christmas today. We're also going to talk to a couple of people about being bald, which will be a lot of fun. Lachlan spent some time in Europe. We'll get to him as well. But of course, as always, this is brought to you by our friends at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial, making it easy for you to get into a car, financing at no cost. Go to easyautofinancial.ca. Check them out today. Totally free to use, and they'll find you the car that you need. Also, our friends at Ed's Fine Imports. He's selling some Christmas Gitch now. You can get yours with the promo code GITCH3. He'll send you a free pair. Go to edsfineimports.com. Clothing for men and boys, and, of course, Domination. DMNDN.com. Try them for free today. It's AI for people that produce content. And we produce a lot of it, so we use them all the time. So should you. DMNTM.com. Fuck, I'll just get out of my own way. Please welcome to the program literally everybody else. We've got a full deck today, which is kind of nice. We've got Lachlan Cross, he's back from Hungary. We got James, he's in Killaloe. We got Ryan, who's in Binbrook. And all the way from Belgium, Mr. Martin Schenk from leadstories.com joins us to start off the first show after the break. That's nice, eh? That's nice. He's got I got to know him a little bit because we have a mutual asshole that we like to take care of. But Martin's incredible, and he's been a fact checker for some time. First of all, Martin, how was your Christmas? Did you guys have a COVID Christmas in Belgium? Did you stay home? What did you do?
Oh yeah. It was nice spending time with family, but I made a nice Christmas star with these self tests that everybody is getting now.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, did you have to test like crazy? We did here too. I think I got I stuck 18 things in my nose over the fucking Christmas holidays. Did you have to do the same thing there?
Yeah. It's for protecting the people you love. So yeah.
Oh, so there's some normal people in Belgium too. That's kind of interesting.
I used to stick things in my nose, and it didn't protect the people I loved, but it had nothing to do with
COVID, you can do it for fun.
Sometimes it just destroyed the people that you love.
That's coke. That's coke, by the way. Anyway, it's nice to have you, Martin, and I want to get to you right off the top because Mark Slapinski, this is a fellow that you wrote about at leadstories.com. Everybody knows that he used to work here with us a little bit, not too much. And he's been turning the heat up, and the heat's getting turned up on him. Now, tell us, if you can, just kind of recap the story about Mark Slapinski and the conservative beaver, because leadstories.com is a fact-checking company that you guys do a ton of stuff with Facebook, and this is one of the reasons why you and I got to meet each other, correct?
Yeah, so we found out that the conservative beaver... it was a site that was putting out fake news, like stories that the CEO of Pfizer was arrested for fraud, which was totally made up, and several other stories. So we looked into the site a bit more closely, and we found that it had an advertising code that was also being used on older fake news sites, which were being run by Mark Slapinski. And we also figured out that the email address on the site that was used to generate the Gravatar avatar of the author of the conservative beaver was actually the MD5 hash of Mark Slapinski's email address, which he also uses on his current website, Toronto 99. So that's an incredible coincidence, or very good hackers, or somebody was just a bit sloppy.
Yeah, he's sloppy. And listen, we've had you on to talk about sloppy a couple of times, and you guys did this work because the CEO of Pfizer really wants Mark Slapinski in court, and he's been petitioning the CEO of Pfizer, the fucking big dude, Albert Bourla. Like, it doesn't get bigger than him at Pfizer. He's the dude. He wants Mark Slapinski in court in the worst way. And just to recap, you sent this to me, and this is just an update for you guys. In the New York Supreme Court, Pfizer won a lawsuit. It says, you you can go and get any information you want from DreamHost LLC, which actually hosts the conservativebeaver.com and Toronto99.com. So he's in deep, deep, deep shit, which was like a Christmas gift to me. I know everybody here got nice presents. I got some Axe body wash. I got a couple other things. But finding out that the New York Supreme Court is going to fist Mark Slapinski, and they're coming after him with everything they have. Pfizer's coming after him with everything they have. Made me happy like a little schoolgirl for some reason. Like it legitimately made me happy, Martin.
And the fun thing is the lawsuit. So Pfizer actually, it wasn't really a lawsuit. They just asked DreamHost, hey, please give up the personal data of the person running this website. And the attorneys for DreamHost basically sent back an email. We're not even going to oppose this. You can have it. So the judge basically said, okay, then go ahead and hand over the data.
Could they have opposed it, Martin? Like,
I don't know. I'm a fact checker. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. They used to oppose it even when it was like child porn. Like the greater priority for these hosting companies were that they weren't going to give up the identities of clients because of privacy considerations or something like that. And like they were seen as almost like a firewall or something between like privacy and the government. Now that's why I thought this was, maybe I'm behind in how that has progressed, but I know back in the day that's what it was like universally. So
it's similar.
That's maybe
similar with Shaw
providers, but hosting companies, I think they're glad to give up that data because they might be held liable otherwise.
Because they host it.
You run this website, you host it, you're responsible. And but with ISPs, it's just no. We just run the phone line and the internet connection. We have nothing to do with it, and we keep the privacy of our clients. I think that's the distinction.
Yeah. So, Martin, my question, and again, like you guys say that he's being sloppy with respect to how you guys caught him. Is it fair to suggest, though, that Martin, that you're just really good at what you're doing and that you caught somebody because of your expertise that the layman, the normal guy on the internet would maybe not know how to protect themselves from something like this?
Yeah, there's an element of it because we use some pretty specialized software and databases to be able to compare these advertising IDs and to figure out where that Gravatar MD5 hash appears in other places. So that's true. That's not something that the average internet user knows how to do or even knows that it's possible. But,
so we can say he's been sloppy, but at the same time, I think that this is an indication of just you doing a good job and a thorough job. Now, here's my other question. You've caught other people doing this shit before. Have you seen this type of reaction after the fact? Like, it seems like something, to me, if you kind of got hauled out on a carpet and you had these pending lawsuits, even if nothing is ever going to come to fruition, maybe you would, like, I don't know, take a little bit of a break from the internet for a bit. He doesn't seem to be doing that. Is that fair?
Down almost.
Yeah. I've caught other people doing shady stuff before. And there's generally two kinds of people that do this sort of website, and that's either they're the true believers or B, they are just in it for the money. And people need money to survive, so they need to keep it up somehow. So we've seen people relaunch other websites and try again. I mean, this is not Mark Slapinski's first website with fake news. You had the Red Panther and TorontoToday.net. So this one was just bigger, and he got caught out in a lawsuit. This time, I think the previous ones, I don't know if he got threatened with a lawsuit by a major pharmaceutical company, but
yeah, I don't want to be.
This is
I
a
don't.
big one.
I don't want to be the kind of guy that will diagnose Mark Saplinski, even though I'm about to diagnose Mark Saplinski. But I think he's probably a malignant narcissist. You know, like we were talking about it. I think it was yesterday night, or maybe it was earlier today, about how, you know, being motivated by money is one thing, but I mean, you're being hauled out by one of the most powerful companies on the planet, and you just kind of keep going, and you're putting yourself in front and center on camera, and you're daring Dean Blundell by calling him horrible things that are libelous, and it just seems like he seems like that guy that, like, if he ever mowed down a bunch of people, he would be smiling in the courtroom during the arraignment. I mean, like, he seems like one of those
like a sadomasochist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Disconnected. Like, and it's funny because in terms of like how he has acted since you caught him, Martin, and because the second you caught Mark Slapinski furthering disinformation and being one of Canada's biggest disinformation purveyors, lying about things that have happened, lying about vaccine deaths, lying, all for the purpose of making some money on the side. Ever since you've done it, he not only has doubled down, as everybody here has pointed out, but he's gotten fucking way worse, like way worse to the point where I find it more entertaining, which is weird because it's all about me. Like on his Toronto 99 site, he puts this out the other day. This is on Christmas Day. 23 votes, very well attended, lots of engagement. Says,
Merry Christmas.
Quote, do you think Dean Blundell is a pedo? Hashtag me too, hashtag Epstein. 13% think I'm a pedo. 87% don't out of 23 votes. I can truly tell you I'm not a pedo. But then it was fascinating because he's been ramping this up. Like, he's been calling me a pedo. He's been calling me a predator. And it's all because, and I don't get it, it's all because I intentionally ruined his shitty life. I don't understand why he's so mad. Wrong? To the point where he actually, there's a fucking misinformation douchebag that just got banned from every social media thing in Canada. His name's Chris Sky. You may or may not have heard him. We'll get to him a little bit later. But after he got banned, his Twitter feed and all the names that had Chris Sakacha, which is his real name, there are all these dummy accounts that are trying to score points after that. He actually, and the reason why I know this is I had some people do some work, and his phone number, Mark Slapinski's personal phone number, is associated with this account yesterday that said, quote, Dean Blundell is a pedophile. I'll give $10,000 to anyone who can give me his home address.
That must have got blocked. That has to get blocked.
He did.
It got blocked instantly.
Yeah.
It got blocked. I didn't report it. I don't report anyone ever. But like, when you see people generally that get shot or get caught doing this stuff, do you normally see them escalating like this where they're like, that guy's a pedophile, that guy's a predator, or do you normally just see them kind of slowly kind of filter away or just shut everything down and put up shop somewhere else? Because like, I know that that's him. I know that he's calling me a pedophile because I've had people do the work. The phone numbers are all the same. It's his phone number. It's his email. It's attached to all these different disinformation pieces. Like and James has pointed out, he either can't help himself or he's on a fucking mission, right? Like that's all I can grab from that, like from his intentions. Where are we at? What do you think?
Yeah, this is one of the weirdest cases I've ever seen. I mean, I got a lot of guys running fake news websites. Interestingly enough, never women. Like, they just don't seem to do it. But the ones that you catch, if they are in it for the money, they just tend to slink away quietly and try to rebuild their empire somewhere else a few months later. Or you have the true believers that then start investigating you, quote unquote. Like, we had people looking into our ties with the Chinese Communist Party or with the deep state and the State Department, or that someone who wrote for us once donated to the Democrats 5 years ago. So that's the sort of reaction you get.
Clearly,
like,
you're communist then.
Yeah, clearly we're communists. Like, they start investigating you and looking who you're connected with. Like, oh yeah, the Lead Stories is part of the International Fact-Checking Network. They're part of the Pointer Institute. The Pointer Institute gets money from
George
these
Soros.
or these Soros, Gates,
Oh, yeah, of course.
blah, blah, blah. So that's one sort of reaction. They never go into, but yeah, actually you're wrong. Your fact check isn't correct. Here are the real facts. They never do that. They just
never a counter with anything
like,
that's logical.
But you're connected to the Chinese Communist Party because you do work for TikTok. Okay, then.
I knew it. I knew that TikTok.
Oh, you look like a Chinese commie. Like when I look at you, Martin, when I look at you in your Belgian flat, I just think Chinese commie.
Yeah.
I bet you like spring
Because
rolls.
it's small and you got a bike.
I love following Xi Jinping's TikTok. He puts some pretty fancy dance moves out. Great.
No, but I
That
mean,
thing where he flips the bottle.
Yeah, he's great at it too.
Yeah, he's really good at it. Yeah.
The closest case that this reminds me of is a journalist from Zimbabwe a couple of years ago who ran a bunch of old school fake news sites aimed at Americans just to make some money, and using that money he funded his local news site for local people in Zimbabwe.
That's awesome.
Was that the guy? Was he connected to the Q organization, Marta?
No, that was way before QAnon even existed.
Was it? Okay. All right.
It was in the glory days of the Macedonian teenagers, 2016, 2017, when a lot of these guys were just, I mean, they were pure cynical grifters, purely in it for the money. So they really didn't care about politics, who became president or why. They just wanted people to click on ads. And yeah, Slapinski's fake news websites look like that. Because he didn't only do political misinformation or COVID misinformation. He also did some just death hoaxes about celebrities, or claiming celebrities who died in accidents were actually murdered or poisoned. But yeah, that's pure clickbait designed to make money. Mm-hmm. But then you have this other site he runs on the site, and then it becomes really weird. Like, from what I've seen of his social media presence, he really wants to be taken seriously as some kind of local journalist.
Yeah.
Love how speechless he is. I love how speechless you are, Martin.
It is. It's awesome.
And judging by the engagement on his social media, like with 23 votes on polls, I'm sure he's making tens of dollars on those websites.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah, and he's committing copyright infringement all the time. Like, half the articles are just copy pasted from Russia Today and not properly attributed. So it's bizarre. Like,
yeah, it's dude, and that's the thing, is that, like, to wrap up the year. Knowing that people like you lead stories, like you put out a story with him, and two months later, like this happened 2 weeks ago, he put out a series of stories on how every Facebook fact checker is full of shit. I don't know if you saw that one. I think I might have actually even sent it to you. He was like,
I haven't, but please.
Oh,
do.
dude. I got to send it to you. Someone sent it to me. It's like, I think he's going after your buddy Martin, because it was what you said these guys do, which is what they say is like, oh, fuck, these fact checkers are full of shit. They're tied to the Communist Party. He did the exact same thing. He did it to you. The second you outed him, he's like, fact checkers are full of shit. And then it was like a month before that, he had cited some of the work that you had done from Lead Stories, saying fact checkers are the best.
that is the best. Like that, you know, having that guy say that you're full of shit is like me making fun of you for being bald and being mean. Or something, you know, like, or something, you know, like, it's just like you're projecting your worst qualities onto someone, and you're saying that he's really fucked up. Like, there is something, like, he's gonna run over people or some shit.
I'm actually really proud of the fact, because every time, and I remember twice, I know for a fact it was that we had him on twice when I was on, and both times I sent Dean a note going, man, there's something wrong with that guy.
Yeah. Like he was a
and
clone.
James did the same thing.
Did the clone get out of the lab?
He was like, I understood why we were putting him on.
Yeah.
Like I got the context and I understood why we had him on the pod, but it was like he was just so weird.
He's got those Zuckerberg eyes, those dead robot eyes.
Yeah, dude, he's not, and that's the thing is like normally when people get caught doing something, like, oh fuck, my bad, you caught me, right? Like it's just one of you got me. Oh yeah, you got. I'll clean it up. Sorry about that. I was trying to do something. And had he come out and went like, hey, yeah, I'm the conservative beaver for sure. Totally my bad. I had a period where I was making some mistakes and I was putting out content to try and make money and all that stuff. But he didn't do any of that. Like, what he did was
claim that it was an experiment or blah, blah, blah. I was exploring the boundaries of journalism and postmodern thought and blah, blah, blah. Or...
he just denied that he was involved in it. And then there's Martin and these guys that have lawyers and fact checkers and journalists going, no, man, that's his email address attached to the fucking the hashtag generator that ad money goes to. That's literally his email. And then I remember asking him about that prior to actually having you on, and I'm like, dude, what is this? And he's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're looking at. I can't even see it. It's like, what is that? What is that? What's happening here? What's happening? Like that's legitimately how he's been acting this whole time. Yeah. And then on top of it, he's now so pissed off. And I got news from a mutual friend of ours. So pissed off at me because I, quote, ruined his entire life that he's just out there calling me a pedophile for fun. And wait till he gets a couple of letters in early January. His life's going to suck.
But he also thinks he's really brilliant. Okay, so remember that video that he put out saying that anti-vaxxers should be shipped to islands and then put into work camp? Mm-hmm. So he released that. He released that at when he was like, and he was trying to be, according to him. Remember, we had him on.
Wait a second. You mean this video? You mean this video right here? You mean this one?
Hey, everybody. So I know as a society we've had a big problem with anti-vaxxers, and I have a solution to the anti-vaxxer question. And some might even say the final solution to the anti-vaxxer question. Here's what we're going to do. Just to start, we're going to take little stickers and we're going to put them on the houses of all the unvaccinated people, just so people know who they are and where they live. And if that doesn't work, what we're going to do is take all the unvaccinated people, put them on cattle cars and ship them off to work camps. Nice, big, powerful work camps, either in Northern Ontario or in Quebec. And here's how this is going to work. We're going to force them to work, free labor, get them to build us stuff, and segregate them. So it's killing multiple birds with one stone.
It goes on, though. It's like 4 minutes long, and
it's a concentration camp play. Like it's
but the context that he put that out was to be sort of like he was being more aggressive than like he was being satirical almost. Like that's what he said at the time. It's like, I was just trying to be this or that. But then he released it again after you called him out. Mm-hmm. And released it as if it was what like all of a sudden he released it as if he was like some someone standing up for the anti-vaxxer. Like this is what they want to do to you. So he just changed the context of the same thing that he put out, similar to how he's put that thing, like Martin pointed out the last time we had you on, was that thing that said that some of the material on the site might be satire, and you informed us that he put that out after he published all of the articles. It's hilarious. That retroactive
and
context generator,
that other video he put out right after he was found out, like powerful. I've pissed off powerful people and they're trying to shut me down. Like, what? Yeah. Like your Toronto 99 site is still running. What are you talking about? Nobody's shutting that one down.
They yell censorship, the loudest, and on every platform they're saying they're being censored. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, we're seeing it everywhere. So
the other video, I mean, I can't not see a guy that gets in his car and drives into the farmer's market at 110 kilometers an hour now. But the scarier videos for me were the ones where he's playing guitar.
Like those with his face like this the whole time. Wonderwall Oasis going on and on and on. And he's like,
Charles Manson
he's got this blank, this fucking weird blank look on his face because he's dissociative, right? Like he's one of those guys that we joke around about. He's Jeremy from Pearl Jam.
I got
it. I remember picking on the boys.
Commander Data's bastard.
Yeah, he is. He's legitimately completely removed from right, wrong, empathy, good, bad, evil, anything that normal people govern their lives by when it comes to morals and values. He's got none. Like most normal people, when they get caught putting out disinformation after Pfizer's CEO, one of the wealthiest guys in the world, sues you for being a lying bag of shit, would just shut it all down. He didn't do that. He came after us, called me a pedophile, and said Martin Schenk is not a fact checker. Like that. Like most people, when you get caught in court, Supreme Court, like, hey, you're a fucking lying piece of shit. They go, shut up shop. See you later. Never say. This guy's on a mission. That's my point. Which makes me wonder if he's doing it for somebody else, like who he's attached to, who he's doing it for, who's funding him, because he's got connections to the post-millennial, which is just a shit rag thing run by that fucking xenophobic piece of shit, Jeff Ballingall. He's attached to something somewhere somehow, because most normal people, emotion kind of reaches into their situation. They go, you know what? A little bit scared. The heat's on. I'm going to fuck off. This guy did none of it. He just started calling everybody a pedophile because his life is ruined.
Like, I know we can't really make any predictions about the legal sort of ramifications of what he has in store for him. And I know that none of us are doctors and we're sort of tossing things around here about what might be wrong with the guy. But I have some experience with this just from a family member. He has some schizophrenic type
tendencies. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
I would doubt it. I wonder which guy is calling me a pedophile.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering, if like the
probably just a cunt.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe the theory of like his modus operandi here is, I wonder if he runs like the I Heart Dean Blundell fan page too. Like, does he have like a Dean Blundell fan club at the same time?
Maybe.
And
that's
just like
Bonzi runs that one.
He just plays both.
We had
sides.
We had a lady at the library, who used to she was like in her 70s, and she used to come in. She used to complain all the time because someone would dog flap or whatever, the dog ear, the corners of the books that she would get. And one day I was like, I don't know about her, to my boss. And so she reserved a book, and I examined this book, and it was perfectly fine. I gave it to her. And then 2 days later, she came back and she had the same routine. And all these people were dog. So she was doing it herself so that she could come in and like bitch about it
and complain about it.
Yeah. And she was kind of a drunk and stuff too. There's a weird thing that some people have to like invent the chaos and then step back and complain about it. And that's kind of what he got caught in his, like Dean, you were saying, he got caught in his own mess. And instead of just being like, okay, he's like, well, dude's a pedophile, like as if, that's relevant,
so
germane to any discussion at all.
The thing is so weird.
It is.
It really is. I know we've been berating it lately, but we're all fascinated by it because
it's bizarre. Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, and it keeps going. Like, it just doesn't stop. Right?
No, it doesn't. And you know what?
Chris
Part of me is
took
like
Christmas off.
Sure he did. Sure he did. But the thing about it is like watching him flail, like watching this Mark Slapinski guy run around and pretend that he's still a journalist might be the most entertaining thing for me now. Like, I think a lot of people are in this world where you go, I want to shut this guy down. I want to fucking end this guy. I want him to keep going. Like, I don't, maybe it's because every time he calls me a pedophile, I just look at half of every check he'll make for the rest of his life coming to me. Like, that's part of it.
I was going to say, you just call your lawyer again.
Every dollar, and the dollar amount goes up and up and up every time he says I'm a predator or calls me something like a pedophile, whatever. And I'm really enjoying that part of this. Like, I'm enjoying seeing the crazy come out. And to me, it's just content. But like everybody, when I sent that note to everybody in the DM, you guys are all like, fucking sue him. I can't believe it. I'm like, you don't understand. These are the musings of a fucking crazy disassociative individual who nobody cares about anymore because Martin Schenk ended his life.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, listen, Martin, I appreciate you. And before we let you go, you guys do great work at leadstories.com. Go and check it out. I was musing some of your content. This one really shocked me. Fact check, because this is what you do. Bee sting to penis cannot permanently enlarge it. Post is actually from a humor site. Were people really stinging themselves or getting bee stings on their penises because they had heard that?
I only tried it a couple of times.
Yeah, people were legit sharing the screenshots and saying, "Yeah, this is real."
I just canceled my Amazon order for the hives.
Yeah, we're not getting
there's some fun shit there too. It's not just like outing super douchebags. It's like, hey, everybody, stop inserting your penis in a.
I love his website. His website is like one of the most entertaining websites to read about fucking crazy, stupid people.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like they're the same people that have to read the instructions on a hairdryer from Sears that says, "Do not immerse this in the bathtub when it's plugged in."
When it really should say, "Please immerse this in the bathtub."
Put it in the bathtub, you stupid fucking idiot. But Martin Schenk, thank you very much for being here today, and thanks for talking about misinformation. And Mark Stepinski, it's my pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, keep me posted on how stuff goes, because that's what I love about. Normally, when I end a disinformation site, I never get to hear what happens to the guy afterwards, but I have a feeling that this will be a story.
Yeah, dude, I have my fist
sadly, I think you're
up
right,
his
Martin.
asshole to the point where he's licking my former wedding ring finger.
All kidding aside, though, I don't.
I saw that on Pornhub.
Something weird. It's already weird. Something bizarre is going to happen with this.
And Mark, if you're listening, go out with a bang, buddy. Like, make it count. You know what I mean?
Show up at my house with weapons.
Do something. This is like you still have another bar to friend. You can do it. I have faith.
Show up at my house with a bat. I would actually personally love that, especially if you put like 1 foot onto my property. That would be the best. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be incredible. Anyway, Martin, before you get in trouble for
I hope he gets
by the way, Mark, you owe me 10 grand too, by the way.
Yeah.
You hope he gets help?
Yeah, I mean, before
like help trying to destroy
I really
us?
don't want bad stuff to happen. Like
No, Martin, I didn't say that to make you feel bad. But I don't think anything that you did would I wouldn't you shouldn't blame yourself if anything weird does happen.
If anything, you're only like 38% responsible. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. If he ends up swinging in a garage, it's not your fault. That's
not your fault.
Well, it's just a little bit your fault. Like 2 feet of the length of the rope, your fault. The rest of it, everyone else's. It's all good.
3 or 4 of the loops around.
Yeah.
I hope he gets help too. I really do.
Yeah, no, I really do. I think, I mean, he must realize at some point that he made a terrible mistake.
I don't think so. I don't think he does. Well, I think he does every time he calls me a pedophile for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, he probably knows that he made a bad mistake. But you know what? The good part about when people make mistakes, especially in and around my atmosphere, is I like to make them pay for it for a long period of time. So that's what we'll do. Thanks, Martin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.
Okay,
buddy.
Thanks, Martin.
Martin Schenk from leadstories.com.
Great dude.
I mean that too. Like, if let's say Slappy.
No.
Let's say Slappy. Let's say Sloppy Slappy. We get a news story that a man took his own life or whatever. I'd be like this. Everybody makes their own decisions. Wouldn't bother me.
Well,
and it's not like I want it to happen because I prefer him to get help. No one wants anybody to leave this world in pain and despair. But when you cause it yourself and someone's like, hey, pain and despair. And they're like, yeah, fuck you. Here's more pain and despair. I'm just going to keep handing it out until I win. And you're like, okay, well, that's not happening. And they get to the point where they're like, I guess the only decision left is to start the car in the garage.
Okay, this is actually a good segue to the thing we did to Bonzi yesterday. Like, I was thinking about that afterwards, and when we got off, because seeing Martin's reaction to our conversation about this guy and the potential that he has to do something even crazier than what he's already done, I could see his anxiety building, right? And I don't know what it is about my personality where I don't want to stop. Like I want to put my foot on the gas. That happened yesterday when we had Bonzi on.
It's a North American thing. Because he's like from a socialist country. They're all really communal over there.
I was just picking myself up off the floor from my beating last night, boys.
Well, we'll get to that. But Bonds, glad you're here. That's Bonzi. That's I don't get hungover, Chris. But Locke, continue your point because I like where you're going with this. You're right.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I think as I get older, and I've always been a fairly self-aware individual, right? And I've always looked into the things that I do and the impact that I have on others. And quite often, I'll be able to step away from a situation like yesterday with very little guilt. And I did that. I stepped away from it. But I started to think about our interaction as a group, right? Yeah. And I started to think about the long-term effects on somebody's psyche from, like, we went after Bonzi for a good hour.
On his own show.
On his own show, which is excellent. And again, like I said, I have zero guilt about my involvement and my participation in the dismemberment of Bonzi's psyche on his
dismemberment.
Podcast. Yes.
I think you do.
Spell it.
No, I don't. And this is the point that I want to bring up. I think this is the what we're lacking in the world that we live in right now is our own involvement in those type of interactions. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Dean. I'm talking about Ryan. I'm talking about Bonzi. And I'm talking about myself.
James?
The four of us. James wasn't involved, but we can throw James into this if you want, because James inserted himself into the Twitter DM later, like after the fact in that conversation.
Right.
So we all have a role to play. We all have a part to play, right? And the question I have for Bonzi is, do you realize this is because I realized my part in it. I was well aware of it. And I realized that I am just as big, like, even though I think Dean was the bigger culprit, I am just as guilty as Dean in what happened yesterday. But I want to know, and I know Dean's self-aware enough to realize that he did it on purpose because he was annoyed by the beginning of the podcast.
Yes.
But here's the thing. You jumped in because you were pissed at how, like, useless the conversation was before you got on. Right.
Well, to be
you
fair,
wanted to just light a fire and burn it up, and that's fair.
It's what I do, right? Like
I know it is what you do.
Look, so two things: you and I have been guests on a couple of podcasts together.
Yes,
and that's what we do every single time we go on.
Every single time we ruin,
take it over
podcast.
And we ruin it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just under the impression that was just another way for us to.
Did you ruin it, or did you make it a better
we made
podcast?
It a million times better, and I'll tell you why. To your point, and I just want to
agree. Thanks, Brooke. I love that guy.
What do you mean, Chris? What are you talking about? It was a fucking great podcast after we got on it because I was watching it. So I'm having a meeting last night. Let me go through what happened. So I'm having a meeting last night about our New Year's Eve show. We're doing a big New Year's Eve show. So is Locke. We'll get to that later. And the meetings with Karima and Ryan, and you're getting ready to do. Thank you. Yeah, have that ready for Bonzi. But you're talking, and I'm watching your podcast out of the corner of my eye with Locke, and I'm like, there's no point. There was no point to the podcast. There was no conversation. There were no assets. There was not, and so I'm kind of keeping my eye on it. And I'm like, and I promised that I would join Bonzi because we had a fun little exchange earlier in the day where I'm like, because Locke called me, he's like, Bonzi doesn't know if he should come on. I should come on his show until we do this show together. And I'm like, dude, fuck, it's the weirdest thing ever. But he's so nice. Bonzi's so self-aware. He didn't want to upset anybody. So I thought that was really nice. But all this to say, it's so much work. Like actually having to explain, because I know you feel bad. Did I sewer Bonzi last night? That was more like an air check to me. I don't think there was anything sewery about it. I think when we were talking to Bonzi, I was like watching his show, and as someone that puts out content, gets assets, and works hard, and I was like, holy fuck, Bonzi needs help prepping for a show, because like all you were doing, it was legitimately like watching two old guys sit down and have coffee and go, yeah, so anyway,
I'll defend Bonzi.
Last week was good.
The one reason why I get can I defend Bonzi quickly?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The one reason why I get brought on a lot of these podcasts is because I can fill holes, right? Like I know for a fact that I know for a fact.
Just came back from Europe, everybody.
Oh yeah,
if Bonzi didn't have me, if Bonzi didn't have me on that podcast yesterday, he would have done more prep. So my contribution was lacking, and it was not good content. And Dean was in
what
the
happened to you?
going,
what happened
are you
to you
talking about?
You went to Hungary and came back like overly nice.
Did you go to a church over there or something?
No, I don't know what happened to me. So then when you came on, Dean, and we all started attacking Bonzi, I've got my legs under me again. I've been off for 2 weeks. And then it felt good. We started to roll. And then, okay, but hold on. Here's the point that I wanted to make. I know the mistakes I made at the beginning of the podcast. I know what I did and the contribution I had in like totally shitting all over Bonzi for a complete hour. Like I get my role in that. I'm wondering, does everybody else that was involved understand their role? And I want to start with Bonzi. Do you realize what it is about your personality that every fucking time you're on the podcast, all we do is just shit on you? Do you understand what it is?
Yeah, listen, I've been at this about a year now with you guys, and I'm pretty used to it. I know my role here.
It's not about a role. Hold on. I get that, and I've had these conversations with Jimmy, because Jimmy also we take the piss out of Jimmy every time he's like even within spitting distance.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want you to think about, right? Do you think there's anything about your personality that creates these type of situations?
Yeah, I'm too nice, and people like Dean and you, who've been in this game a long time, feed off of my kindness.
We do it to James, and James isn't nice at all.
So you're because you're kind, people shit on you on a podcast? I don't understand that.
They take advantage of my kindness. And I listen, I got thick skin. I played hockey and sports for a long time with dudes. And I mean, there's a lot of chirping and stuff that went on. And even in my group of friends growing up, it's always been something that I've been involved with. And listen, it wasn't, you guys attacked me pretty hard, but in my own defense, Dean, I did have a different show lined up. We had a guest. I did research for that. I do show prep. And yeah, when Lachlan came on, it was kind of a free-for-all, if you will. And it got a little carried away, but
so this is friend to friend, but kind of like pseudo boss to employee.
Sure.
Do you really plan? Like,
Yes,
do you really prep and plan? Because I watched that show yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to have to go back and watch every single one of Bonzi's shows, but I saw clips, and I used to love the clips that you were doing, and it's parts of the shows, and I'm like, he's lost it. You got to talk about other stuff. You got to have like, here, this happened today, and this happened today, and then you got to create it. But like last night was legitimately like, honest to God, it was like the fear that I have in my life being played out in real time, where it was like legitimately two old guys having a coffee at Tim Hortons, and there was a camera being shot. And I was watching Lachlan's face, and I'm like, I got to get in there and have some fun and break it up. Yeah, he was like, I could see it, because I know
I'd also started drinking at like 7:00 in the morning because of the time change. So I didn't have my feet underneath me. By the way, how long can I get away with that?
Forever. Dude, you're 52 almost. You can have a beer anytime you want.
How long can I get away with it with my wife? It's at least 1:00 in Hungary.
2 weeks.
I have a question.
Okay,
I have a question for Bonzi. Bonzi, do you think that this warranted Lachlan virtue signaling on your behalf here today?
I'm not virtue signaling. Let's correct
exactly what
that.
you've.
I want to help Bonzi here.
This morning, I woke up to a text message that I thought my dead fucking mother sent me because I was mean to my friends and had to apologize. And I was told by her, like, I swear to God, it was the Catholic guilt of my fucking mom again. Like, who? It's like Lachlan. No, Lachlan's still drunk, so he must still be drunk. He's crying into something. I don't know what's going on.
Drunk for 2 weeks, so
I know,
and
it's coming through in your fucking text messages and making us feel like assholes. When yes, we're assholes.
No, I'm trying to help Bonzi here because I think we need to be more productive with Bonzi when we have him on. Right?
Okay,
Instead of this, every time
on.
he's on, we just fucking spend time talking about him milking his taint. Like,
yeah, but you're lying.
Can I interject here, boys?
Yeah, let me just read this and then you can interject.
That,
but this is what Lachlan. This is literally after the show last night because so Bonzi, first of all, quick question: did you feel oppressed in any way by us last night when we were shitting on you for 60 solid minutes?
I'm not. Problem.
I'm used to you guys by now.
It was content. Exactly.
It was content. We had a lot of fun. I thought I handled the whole situation pretty decent.
Yeah,
you were awesome.
No,
he even made up a scenario.
Stepchild by the end.
All of you guys are way too close to this situation. Way too close.
All right, you know what? We should let the outsider. Yeah, the outsiders have an opinion.
James,
you're right.
I want James's opinion, but before we do that, so Lachlan.
Outsiders from last night. James, I'm sorry.
Today, and he's going like this. He's like, guys. He sent us the note this morning. He's like, guys, I'm really feeling bad about what we did to Bonzi. We need to have a conversation about it.
I did not fucking say that. You're
something like that.
Full of shit.
But let me read you the text. I go, was it too much? Was it too much? I say last night. This is Ryan. Nah, it was awesome. This guy singing sounds like this guy from SpongeBob, the guy that you had on after. Then Lachlan goes, that was a growth pod for Bonzi. He says, that was a growth pod. And then he says, my favorite moment was when he told me he really does like to talk about his anal fissure on his podcast.
I don't.
So my point is this, is that everything you've just said has been canceled out by everything you tweeted to us right after the show last night. James, over to you.
Well, first of all, the mistake you guys made was not inviting me on the podcast. That clearly would have cleaned up everything for Bonzi. But it would have been a little bit more of an even match. Bonzi, I think it's so hard because you know your role, but I don't think you like your role. Like no one.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Well, hold on, I'm not done yet. Sometimes people maybe you don't know your role because you don't know what your role looks like from the audience. So from the audience perspective, last night, you look like Gilligan getting beat up by 3 skippers, just getting your head smacked over and over again by 3 different skippers. And that's for those playing at home. That's and it was funny from that show.
Yes, it was.
It was very funny. And nobody left.
But the thing is that you didn't take it personally. And so they kept going and you're smiling. So they kept going. So I believe that everyone was being genuine and authentic, but how it played was like, it just kind of played it played like it was like, is Bonzi going to ever fight back? Why isn't Bonzi fighting back?
Well, there's places to fight back.
He threw some shots. It was good.
Yeah.
Bonds.
I told Dean to fuck off at one point, I think.
Yeah, you did.
I called him a jerk.
But that's not fighting back. That's just like telling someone to
that's saying stuff. That's just saying stuff. You jerk.
Oh, hey.
You know? Like, I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So
like here,
let me brass this down. Hey, Chris,
I'm trying to get a word in an Italian dinner right now. Holy shit! Nonna, shut up.
What are you, some sort of sick fucking maniac or something?
What are you doing right now?
Sorry, dude. I think Lachlan, in retrospect, was bothered by, which is unbelievable because he went to Hungary a meaner person. He came back nicer, which is odd. But I think Lachlan had more of a problem with it than Bonzi did. I think because Bonzi sent me a note this morning because I said to him last night, hey, man, it was all just for fun, right? You get that? He's like, brother, I get it. It's awesome. Like he didn't have a problem with us shitting.
That's why I said it was a virtue signal. This is a total virtue signal on his behalf.
No, it's part of like I am seriously
I think he wants to be a better person.
I am seriously thinking about it.
Then the first step in that is leave us the fuck out of it.
Oh yeah, but you're just as guilty as the rest of us, Ryan.
Don't leave us the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
no,
Chris is doing a Sudoku puzzle.
He's been dying to talk.
When you guys are done.
Okay, no, hold on, Rook. I would be very interested in hearing your take.
Yeah, same.
I would have no idea.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
It's funny because I was with my wife, who God rest her soul. Not God rest her soul. She's not dead.
Wow.
She is one of the nicest.
This was a pretty bad pod.
Well, fuck. Like, I haven't talked in
It killed your
26
wife.
minutes. Like, Jesus, I need to get rusty here. She was like, "Oh, like Dean's doing a podcast. It's at night." I'm like, "That's not Dean's podcast. It's one of the other guys." She's like, "Oh, like shouldn't you know when people do podcasts?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And we watched a little bit on YouTube, and she's like, "Why are they being so mean?" Because she's outside looking. I'm like, "It's the shtick, you know. Lachlan's the angry old guy. Dean's the, you know." I gave her the old rundown, and then she said, "But you know, they're like, shouldn't they do this off air, not on air?"
That's right.
And then I was just like sitting there with her. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I think that would make sense. But then I guess it wouldn't be entertaining. She's like, they're just being so mean, and literally said, "Could you please shut it off?"
See, okay, Rook, thank you.
I told you.
That was why
I look,
took
hold
a
on, wait,
step.
hold on.
That's
Army
why
Chris
I
backed
took
me up here and said, "I'm going for a dart. Let me know when the staff meeting is over." So there you go.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
my opinion.
So this is the point that I wanted to make today, right? I don't feel guilty. None of us should feel guilty about our involvement because to a man, we all need to sit back and evaluate what it is that we bring to the table, right? I can be a dick and I can be coaxed on. Like when Dean came on, I was just like, all right, here we go. Let's right. And Dean knows he can get that out of me, right? Yeah. Okay. Bonzi, you play this passive aggressive role and you allow us to do it, right? Perfect. And Ryan, you're the perfect fucking middle guy. You're sitting there laughing and cheering us on. Like you're the fucking
I just snipe in every once in a while.
Backup coach, right? And you're just as guilty as the rest of us. And
I'm not guilty of anything. And I hate being told
here's where we're
lack of acceptance of your guilt is part of the problem.
It's true. Okay. Ryan, you had some pretty good zingers last night.
Yeah, we tried.
I am a little upset that you're trying to defend yourself and say, oh, no, I was kind of on Team Bonzi and stuff like you were not.
I never said that. When did I say I was on Team Bonzi?
Well,
I said I was on Team Bonzi.
But you're
that's
trying to
James.
defend yourself and saying you weren't as mean as Lachlan and Dean.
I just said I don't need to defend myself, Bonzi, so that means I'm not defending myself. I don't have to answer to any one of you fucking guys on what I do.
That's the incredible part of being adults is that nobody has to answer to anybody on this. All we have to do is find ways to sewer different people to create content. That's the whole idea, right? Like Bonzi, if you ever change, if you came to me one day and you said, "Hey, Dean, I'd like to be taken a little more seriously," I'd say, we'll go do it somewhere else.
Bonzi, if I hated Bonzi, why would you be living in my house come January 3rd?
Oh,
like there's not.
I didn't say you hated me.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. We do this for a reason, and you don't have a problem with it. Somebody comes up and says they have a problem with it, and now you're jumping in to say, "Well, yeah. You know what?
No, hold on.
I don't get it.
Didn't say I had a problem with any of it, Ryan. None of it. I enjoyed every minute of it. There was zero guilt when I left. What I wanted to have the point of the conversation, and I thought we could do this in a productive manner. And I think we have, because we've sort of like we've opened this up and we've had
Pandora's box. Yes, we have.
Okay. Bonzi, who changed my fucking thing?
Nobody. I don't do well with tech. Your Chiron says your name is now I don't do well with tech. You know who changed it? The guy whose Chiron says I am playing Sudoku.
Yeah, you should have put it in caps.
Bonzi.
Hey, look,
Bonzi.
Change it back.
We can't do this every time Bonzi's on.
No,
we can't. We have to grow. We have to evolve. The same thing. We've had the same conversation behind the scenes about our interaction with James. There's no difference here. Like all of us as people need to evaluate what we bring to the table. And we all have to take initiative in our development, our own personal growth. And this is a good time to have this conversation. I'm thinking
the in-flight movie was Tony Robbins, apparently.
I did learn a lot last night from the podcast. I sat back after.
Perfect.
And I sat and watched Letterkenny, and I was going through the show
then you're
a little
welcome.
bit, and I was like,
Yeah.
Listen, I enjoyed getting beat up last night in a way because it did make me better. And I listened to Dean and I listened to what you guys said. And then I soaked in the messages this morning as well. And, what I take from last night is I can be better for sure. I should have taken a more authoritative role when hosting you guys, even though I felt I did okay. I think there's room for improvement. Listen, you guys got 20 plus years on me. I've got a couple now.
Yeah, but it's your fucking podcast.
I'll only be better moving forward.
It's your podcast. There's no way that you should have let Buckley sit there and we would have kept going. Like, honestly, I was cheering.
I was just getting warmed up. Like when I started the show, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? That was, I believe, my first words were, what the fuck are you doing? We've been waiting for 30 minutes. And so I get that maybe was that a little harsh, I guess. But we were waiting for 30 minutes to get in the weight room. And on top of it, your musical guest, he waited for an hour and 40 minutes. And so I was like, yeah, and so
we were late starting. You guys came to the show early, and it all kind of got off the tracks. And I tried my best. I was having a nice conversation with Lachlan, and then it was going to move into by Lachlan, have the musical guest on, and then have Lachlan back with you and Ryan to bash Bonzi for a little while. That's how it was supposed to go.
Was that written in the notes?
He literally told his audience in the beginning of the show, Robert. They're coming to bust my balls. Those guys are on their way to bust my balls. He told them. Continually kept telling them this is what's happening.
A proclamation here, and then we'll move on from the Bonzi thing because this is the truth. Bonzi, if you ever change, you can't work here.
We love you.
I'm not changing.
It doesn't matter. Get smarter. You cannot you need to ride the horse that fits you.
Don't you dare get smarter, Bonzi. You dumb.
I play my role of brick well. I will not get smarter.
You're the Brick Tamlin of the group.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I like a nice pair of slacks and enjoy mayonnaise. You got to keep being the mayonnaise slacks guy. You really do, because if you don't like getting into the it's the same reason why I don't I got asked to go on this sports gambling podcast about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And they're like, why not? We'd love to have you on. I'm like, because I don't want to, it's not my lane. I'm not going to walk into a lane that you guys are really good at and pretend to be something I'm not, because it's going to fail. And that was my whole point last night, is that you can put a little.
I should go on though and just fuck it up.
Yeah, we should. You know what? I forgot. I'll call him back and say Lachlan and I'll do it. And then we'll start the podcast.
I know nothing about
what the fuck are you guys doing? What are you doing? But my point is same with James, same with Ryan, same with Lachlan. Like, everybody's got a role to play, and you have to be okay being the rookie. And the lighthearted, poor. No, not you. You're in the management. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ, Rook. You're rookie. You're not the rookie. You have to be the dopey rookie that's just here to get better and loves to have fun. Because if you're not that guy, you're not that guy on our show anymore, because I can't have you weighing in on,
I love lamp.
No offense, infectious disease or virology. It's just.
And nor do I want to be a part of that.
Why not? He's like a specimen.
A special one at
that. He's got
a specimen.
He's got his what do you have? Your fungus fingers now in your third ball. I think he should be on the virology show at least.
By the way, also
show.
We need to move on, but I will say this quickly. Bonzi, my wife, that's total bullshit. She never told you could watch TV in our bedroom.
No, she did.
Did you check? Did you confirm that today?
Yeah.
Did you confirm that with your wife?
When she brought down my Kraft macaroni and cheese. I told you guys, that bedroom's a sanctuary.
I didn't make that up. I swear to God.
That's what I heard. You eat like a 5-year-old, Locke.
And they're not talking to you this time, James. You can actually make fun of Lachlan now.
Yeah. You do. As soon as we get on the podcast,
Rook, who chugged a bottle of champagne, is giving me eating advice. Yeah. Thanks.
That's not a child's diet, though, champagne. Macaroni and cheese, Arby's.
Was when I was a kid.
Is.
Yeah,
that's right.
You guys had KD lately? It's fucking good.
It is. The sharp cheddar one's pretty good.
First time in years, it's incredible.
Get the sharp cheddar
in the world. Let's switch subjects here. COVID Christmas, best Christmas ever. Let's all weigh in. Ryan did a fucking fantastic article on COVID Christmas, and I don't know if you guys watch it. You can see it at DeanBlundell.com. It is so good. It is so good. He went through the 2019 list of obligations, and then he fast forwarded to today and this last Christmas's list of obligations. Let me put this on here. Look at the litany of bullshit prior to the COVID. Look at this. 2 p.m. grocery store trip number 1, buying proteins served tomorrow, feeding 15 plus people, absolute pig fuck of people. The lineups are insane. 4:30, panic driving to go to the liquor store. 5:15, lucky the beer store is about to close. 6:30, home, beer looks really good. I deserve to cry. 6:45, and then gets into this where he's like, oh, and then all of a sudden 11:30 Christmas Eve. I don't know. I'm going to bed at like 2:30 in the morning. I got to get some shit. And then
wash the house,
wash the house, all this, and then the 25th Christmas Day is here. The list of things that he had to do by Christmas Day was fucking egregious. And then the crazy part was he put fast forward to December 24th, 2021. Worked from home most of the day. In between work duties, I prepped a beautiful prime rib dinner with roasted garlic, mashed potatoes, sprouts in a demi-glace. Is it glaze or glace? Glaze? Okay.
There's no accident Bonzi's going from one good cook to another.
Right?
Like
I know.
Yeah.
He's going to be so fat when he leaves here. I can't wait.
Dummy. No dummy.
But the article was brilliant. You know, and you brought up some great points. I think we need to rethink all the family commitment bullshit we have to do at Christmas time.
The closing that I put in that, I think, is what seals the deal for me. And we put a lot of stock in the positive, and this is how our brains work. Our brains work this way. Our brains are protected by the positive parts, not the negative. So we remember the fun Christmas. We remember the cool things that happened and the family time. And you know, we got to see Uncle Terry in our memory. We apparently like Uncle Terry, but when Uncle Terry's at the house, he's a fucking loser and he's an asshole. He leaves his shoes on, he drinks your booze, and he never contributes anything. And that happens over and over and over again. But we wash it with these positive memories of Christmas and the family get together and, oh, wasn't that nice? Oh, it's not nice. It's a fucking pain in the ass. It's a real pain in the ass. So this forced us to take another look at it now. I think COVID has, if it's done a silver lining favor for us, it made us better we took a step back. What was important? My wife, my daughter, happiness, actually connecting with them on Christmas, opening presents and enjoying it. Good food. Yeah, exactly. But not rushing around. No stress. From last Friday until today, until this morning when Locke messaged the group, zero stress. No stress at all. It's been fucking awesome this holiday. It's been so good.
Yeah.
And then, but the contrast, and I don't I'll text you, I'll call you, we'll have a Zoom or a FaceTime. Merry Christmas, love you guys, see you later. And that was it. It was literally a 20-minute fucking time investment as opposed to weeks of preparation.
I think your Christmas and your breakdown of 2019 versus 2021 is a microcosm of COVID as a whole, right?
I believe so too. I think you're right.
I think a lot of things that we've looked like, a lot of things that have happened and the changes that we've all gone through, and we've all taken a step back and had to reevaluate what's important, what's not. And I think it's going to change how we move forward. I think it's gonna definitely in my life. Having said that, I'm the guy that no one wants to invite to Christmas, so I got to come back from a different perspective.
Can't imagine
You're
why.
Terry. You're Uncle Terry.
Yeah. Can't imagine why.
Fuck you, Terry.
Fucking neighbors hate you. Family hates you. That's awesome.
No, I loved it. What about you, Dean? How was your Christmas?
Fucking awesome. I didn't see anybody. It was the fucking best. I saw my kids. I didn't have to go anywhere. My folks came to town the week before. I had a great weekend with them. Brother, sister. They got in a couple car accidents, so that was a little weird a couple weeks ago, but they're fine. Everybody's good. And I didn't have to go to my girlfriend's house or my wife's house. I didn't have to sit in a group of 20 people eating shitty squeeze cheese going, so how are you? How was your year? Did you have a good year? Was it a great year? And have the person next to me go, I don't know. It's all right, I guess. I got a heart issue and an arrhythmia. And then you're like, oh, that's nice. And then you look to your right and you're like, how was your year? And she's like, it's not great. I found out I got polyps. And you're like, oh, that's great. Fucking great. Merry Christmas. I also was really happy I didn't have to sleep in a fucking bathtub that belonged to my mother-in-law because it was the only room the cats weren't in. I'm also happy I didn't have to load the car with fucking gifts and go door to door to door to door in different towns and say, Merry Christmas to you, even though I don't talk to you all year for a very specific reason, because we don't like anybody that lives in this house. Like, I didn't have to do any of that. All I did was anything I wanted to do, and I did it with my kids, and it was fucking perfect. And then Ryan and I were talking about it after. I don't know about you, Locke, or James, or Chris, or Bonzi. Bonzi's a nomad, so his Christmases are weird. But, like, it opened my eyes to the selfishness that we need to treat Christmas with.
Yep.
Like, we really do. The
100%.
bullshit
just
about being
Christmas.
forced to
Not
go and
just
spend
Christmas.
time with extended family that you don't see for
Don't even
very fucking specific reasons for 364 days of the year. You want to be forced to spend 4 hours with them? I don't. I won't do it anymore. Luckily, I enjoy my family, but I'm talking about extended family, uncles, aunts, relatives, like fucking making this purposeful trip like Locke used to do to Vancouver, flying out there all the time. He's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend my time and my money, and I'm going to be selfish. But this Christmas, this COVID Christmas, was the most restful, meaningful, happy, peaceful, nothing to do with anybody else. No fucking caravans of presents and sweet potato dishes covered in fucking stupid tinfoil and walking into someone's house going, okay, well, how long are we staying here for? You're like, what's our sign? Like, I used to always have a sign with my ex. I'm like, if I go like this at any point in time, that means we have to leave. We have to leave. And I would do it like 5 minutes into getting to someplace. We'd drive 2 hours. I'd be like, okay, see this? See this? Because that's how much I hated it. So my point is this. I had a fucking great Christmas. How did you do, James? Did you have a COVID Christmas?
Yeah. I told my family months ago that if they weren't coming up here, making the 4-hour drive up here, then they weren't seeing me at Christmas. And so they didn't. And they got together because they all live within an hour of each other. And It was great. It was me, the 2 kids, and the wife, and the dog, not the cat, because the cat's gone forever, I think. And it was good. Like, it was like low key. We have a Christmas tree, and it was all for the kids, and I didn't have to like cook for 15 people like I normally do. And that was good. And then we went to go see their grandparents around the corner. That was it. That was it. Yeah. Didn't have to drive 4 hours like I normally would. Didn't have to spend the night. You ever try to spend the night somewhere with 2 young kids?
No.
Sucks.
No.
When it's not their bed, it's stupid.
It
and I literally said to my sister's like, why aren't you coming down? Like, you're just announcing you're not going to come down for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm the only one with 2 young kids. So if you want to drive up here without any kids because you don't have them, then cool, do that. But I'm not driving down there and making my kids spend the night at someone's house where that they don't recognize. And it sucks in a way because my mom hasn't seen these kids in 2 years. They're her grandkids, right? So
yeah.
She's a whole different story. She basically can barely leave the house. She's got fibromyalgia, addicted to opiates and painkillers and all this like arthritis stuff happening. So she just won't leave. So if I don't go there, then it doesn't happen. So in a way, it's like, oh, okay. If you're never going to leave, then
crying shame.
I guess I won't be able to see you. But you know what I mean? Anyway, that sounds harsh, but like, it was better this way because it always ruins Christmas when you have to drive with little kids and when you have to spend the night somewhere with little kids. It ruins it.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. And the kids thing is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Dean was explaining it to me when we were talking on the phone about the blended family thing of like moving like 7 fucking human beings across the province to go visit people. And fucking that just sounded like a nightmare.
Do you know what sucked? Do you know what sucked is that we would have like an hour and a half car ride. And in that car ride, I would get the entire litany of who was going to be at this thing and how much she hated them. Family members, her sisters, her brothers, her aunts, her uncles, and all the problems with each person and affairs that they all had. And then you'd get to the fucking Christmas thing and be like, hi, everybody, Merry Christmas. And you're like, well, you just hated on all these people for the hour and a half before we got here, and now it's fucking Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And this Christmas was great because you didn't have to put anything on. Like nothing was fake this year.
Nothing. Unvaccinated pond scum. How was yours? How was your Christmas?
Well, just as such, you guys are all like, "Oh, we didn't have to see anybody on Christmas Day." Welcome to my life, guys. Welcome to my life the past 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Damn. You guys have one day.
Again, it's perspective. You're right. It's perspective.
It all is about perspective.
You're right.
I've had to skip out on some things which have been sad. You know, it's up and down, right? You get sad that you have to skip out on some things, and then you're happy that you get to miss out on others. So it's up and down. But for me and my wife had her sister and her fiance over. We sat all day in our pajamas, made some prime rib on Christmas Eve, some steaks and lobster on Christmas Day, played Nintendo Switch, watched Christmas movies, had some drinks, had some chocolates, some candy.
And how
it was
awesome
incredible.
was it?
It was
Fucking
incredible.
sounds amazing.
I felt like I was 10 years old again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
it felt like a kid's Christmas. You're right, because I even said this to, like, those are the exact words I used with Dean. It's like the care went away from when I was a kid. Like, that's how I looked forward to Christmas this year, because there was no stress. It was like I was almost excited. We put the lights up. We did all the shit we would normally do, but we felt good about it because we weren't rushed to get it done.
Slept in.
Oh my God, yeah. Slept in, woke up, and then opened presents, and then had fucking naps.
Yeah.
And then
like
got up
normal
and
people.
did other shit.
Right.
Like we made snack trays and like cheese and meat things and like shit that you would never fucking dream of when you were hosting 15 to 20 people in your house, when you had so much shit to do. You're exhausted, and they all leave the house, and it looks like a fucking tornado ripped through it, and nobody's there to fucking help other than you and your wife.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and
you look at each other. Oh, wasn't that nice? Wasn't that
and
so?
then just a quick FaceTime or a phone call to the family members that you were going to see to say Merry Christmas.
Fuck that. I didn't even do that. I didn't even do
You
that.
didn't
Fuck
say-
that shit. I hate FaceTime. Honestly, I fucking hate it. And everyone wants to say their individual hello to one of my kids, and my kids are like not having it. Like, I don't fucking want to do this, Dad. You know
I
what
don't
I
even
mean?
know that person. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Who the fuck is that? That's your grandmother. I don't fucking care. And I
Only
didn't.
those phone calls.
Yeah, forcing children to hug and kiss fucking people they don't know.
Dude, we did a family Zoom call for my parents' 50th, which was in December, and like all of my extended family got on that thing, and I didn't recognize anybody. I was like, oh, is that my cousin? Who is that? I don't know.
One of my Facebook memory posts came up on Christmas, and it was like, I just want to make a public service announcement. This is from last year, I think. I will not force any of my relatives or friends to talk to my children over the telephone. Not one of you people are going to go through the fucking gauntlet of spending 5 minutes saying hello, and they're still like, "Who is this, Daddy? I don't know who the fuck this is." Like, oh my God, it's torture trying to talk to kids on the phone. I hate it.
We were curling a couple years ago. My wife curls quite regularly, and I'm like a spare. They'll throw me in at like a last resort. And I'm at this curling rink on the south end of town, and my wife goes, "There's somebody on the board with your last name." And I went up and I looked at it, and I said, I don't know who it is. I never heard of him. And so my wife went and introduced herself to them, and we're fucking related. It's my dad's cousin.
Did you ask him where your dad's been all these years?
I had no idea.
Have you
who this
seen my
fucking guy
dad?
was. This guy lives in Edmonton. He lives 6 minutes away from me.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a year ahead of all you guys. I did this last year for Christmas.
Yeah.
I had moved back home out of my parents' house. I had to spend 4 months with when I came back from Nicaragua, and I had a falling out with my two brothers. So I'd be damned if I was spending Christmas with them last year, and I didn't. Yeah. I sat home the entire Christmas. I worked. I was calling some football games over in Europe at that time too, and there was a bunch of games the whole weekend. I worked every day. I had my kids over. We had nice dinners. Smoked a ton of weed, and it was awesome. So this year, a little different for me. I was at Army Chris's here for Christmas Eve. We had a nice dinner, and then just trotted over to the Palaways for a Ukrainian Christmas. Pretty simple. There was 5 of us. Few hours spent. Nice time, nice food. Back home on the couch, Letterkenny, and it was awesome. Pretty simple, low key.
See, this is what you can do when no one is allowed to come to your house because there's a fucking national pandemic.
I kind of liked it.
All these people are upset. Oh, I'm going to do whatever I want for Christmas. You know what? I used I get mad at people for using the pandemic. I used the pandemic to not have to do anything over the holidays.
We're adjusting.
I used it.
Dean, you're being responsible.
Yeah.
Being responsible.
I used it. Whereas someone like
By
Chris,
the way, I'm mad at you, Rook. You're like first year into your marriage, and you're getting all this now.
Yeah,
I know, right? He didn't pay anything.
Well, that's because he can't get vaccinated because he's got RA. So he plays the RA.
Look how bent
card
out
all
of
the
shape he
time.
is about it.
He's like, oh, I can't get vaccinated. RA.
Oh, wow.
Can't go to this thing. RA.
That was
rheumatoid
great.
Arthritis. Yeah. He's got the best life on the planet. Do you know how many fucking of his wife's friends' weddings he's missed this last like 6-8 months? Like 4 or 5. 4.
And listen, I'm a great time, so it sucks for them.
Do you have to, Rock?
Great time.
We already knew that. Hey, do you still have to buy gifts?
For who?
Like for the weddings you can't go to.
That would be.
Yeah, well, it depends. With the white weddings, like maybe a bowl or something, but for the Italians, you gotta fill the booster.
Cash. Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
fill the
it's
booster because
It's coming back.
No,
you gotta work on
she knows.
the fact that
Yeah.
you're
What about the
missing
bag? No one's
all of-
watching the bag. Oh, no one's gonna take that here, honey. Don't worry about that.
Don't you worry about
No,
that
but
bag.
That's
but
the fucking
truthfully-
safest bag on the fucking planet.
Good fellows.
Truthfully,
Good fellows.
though,
That's right. That's right.
with
Good
all Lindsay's friends know my situation and they do still like me, so I'm respectful, of course, and we act like if I was there.
Yeah.
We don't skimp on that because.
But
you have
let's
to
be
respectful.
serious. Like, how many times have you used the
It's
fact
cheap
that
at
you're
twice
not
the price.
vaccinated to get
Yeah,
out of
don't lie
having
to
to
us
go
either.
to something? How many
Every
times?
day.
It's cheap at twice the price. Like I'd pay double in
The
what I
12,
would
the
have put in
12
that
days
gift.
of unvaccination. I'll write a poem.
Yes.
No, but how many times
no.
have you wheeled it? How many times have you played the unvaccinated card for your own
Lost
benefit?
count.
25, 30, 40, 50, 60,
Ah, shit.
70,
Right?
80.
See,
I'm
if
almost
you-
jealous.
If
You're
I
the
didn't, if it wasn't, if we weren't looked at as pariahs, like if unvaccinated people weren't looked at like just dirty bastards, I would be I would be pretending that I'm not vaccinated all the time. Sorry, I can't go. I'm not vaccinated.
Dude,
Sorry,
But I'm
I
vaccinated and I
I
sing the
get cold
praises of it.
sores.
At the
I couldn't get
beginning of the
vaccinated.
pandemic, I literally isolated for 14 days on like this little sniffle that I just worked into. Like, I don't know. I feel pretty sick. So I got like a good 14 days of isolation so I could just work on stuff.
Hey, but
Didn't have to do
listen, I
anything.
saw a video online of somebody with a COVID test, one of the rapid ones, and they're like when the family's getting a bit annoying, and they took a pink highlighter and just did a little line at the bottom. So you guys have options. You just got to be creative.
Sorry, Derek, you're gonna have to go home.
Shit. But
I
took
would
3
show up with
before.
one. I would show up with one if it helped. Guys, listen, I'm just going to show this to you from 6 feet away, but I am so infectious right now. You don't want me in there. I'd be like, thanks for thinking of us, Dean. And I'd be like, no problem.
Bye.
And I'd walk away and go like this.
And people accuse other people of lying about that. Like my sister was like, I don't know. I don't feel like I don't have a sense of smell. This is like on the 23rd. And she's like, I don't know. I might have COVID. And then she tests. And then everyone was like, fuck, she's lying. like my sister, my niece, and me, and we're just like, I don't know. I don't think she just wants to do it because she's got tickets to go see. I think she had tickets to see Ricky Gervais or something. I can't remember what she had tickets for. And no, she actually tested positive for COVID. So we all had to be like,
Ricky Gervais.
Darn.
it was something. I can't remember. I thought it was Ricky Gervais, but if he played in Toronto recently, then it was him. But I'm not sure who exactly it was. She had tickets to something really awesome, and we thought that she was just bailing on us for that, or on them actually, because this is at the Christmas that I wasn't invited to. They didn't even call me on Christmas because they were like so mad that I had stated 8 months prior that I wasn't going to be joining them for Christmas. So they were like, "Well, fuck him. We're not even going to."
They're full of resentment. Yeah.
Ah.
See, listen, that's the great part of COVID is you didn't have to deal with that this year at all.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
But
Fuck
it
all
also
that.
has its downfalls, because like eating inside was fun. Going to movies was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
How many movies did you really go to last year, though?
I don't
The year
know.
before
I
COVID.
was gonna get vaccinated to go see Spider-Man: No Way Home, or the new Spider-Man. That was the only thing that almost made me do it.
Matrix. Has anyone seen the Matrix yet?
No.
I
heard
Army
shit.
Chris saw it last night, or
Don't say it. Don't say it. He fucking hates everything.
He said it
That-
was
that
horrendous.
dick- no, fuck off. No,
Sorry.
No,
Yeah, he did.
No.
Dude,
No,
I
I'm not
heard it was
listening.
bad too. I heard it was
No.
bad too. It
I
was
don't
like,
care what
it
people
did
say, though.
Like, did
I have to
like
see it.
12 million at the box office, and like Spider-Man did 200 or something.
No, it
I've
did
never
like
seen the
76
Matrix,
million.
so I can't be a judge. I didn't watch it
Dude,
with him.
you've never seen the
I can't
Matrix?
go.
Oh,
Neither have I.
really?
Phenomenal.
No.
You know what? It is one of the 2 movies that I've seen in my lifetime. Probably these 2 movies were the only ones that did this to me, where when I watched it, profoundly changed how I even looked at movies. The Matrix was one of them. The Matrix, I got
agree.
stoned. I had never even seen a preview. It was like the year 2002 or something like that. It was already out for a few years, and I saw it at some guy's house at my brother-in-law, and I smoked a joint and watched this movie, and I was completely floored about the concept and everything.
Yeah.
And the other one that did that to me was Natural Born Killers. I saw that in high school.
Amazing.
And I didn't know what to expect. And I was just like blown away cinematically by this film. If you haven't seen The Matrix, Jesus fucking
Never.
Christ,
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Never watched it.
Really? You've never seen The Matrix?
Never seen The Matrix. I
so
get the
weird.
reference. I see the references, and I've never actually watched it.
Especially 20 years on now that AI is a thing. Like now that we can kind of see the technology and stuff that they're talking about, you're like, holy fuck, it's even weirder, right?
Yeah.
No
The
shit.
metaverse is basically the Matrix.
The thing about The Matrix is that it takes a conspiracy theory that we've all talked about for years and built a story around it. So there is a lot of people that believe that this is a simulation, that we're fucking we're a zoo.
Yeah.
Right? And if you really, really, really spend some time, and I don't even think you need a bowl to smoke,
Oh God.
and you think about it,
Here it comes.
we could fucking be a zoo. Honestly.
It's true. And it works metaphorically too. Everything about that movie works. Like we're always plugged into something. You know what I mean?
Happened
Like,
to you?
just-
What happened to you in the last 2 weeks, Lachlan?
Dean,
Seriously.
no, I've always thought this. This is nothing to do
You're
with
gonna
the
be
last 2
fired,
weeks.
mister. He changed, Dean.
No.
Changed.
No.
I hope
no.
I'm telling you, he
changed.
did yoga in a fucking church in Ukraine or wherever the fuck he was, and
I've
something
done
changed.
yoga for
Something
10
broke.
years. I've done it and it had nothing to do. I was in an Airbnb.
Something broke.
Has nothing
Went
to
to
do
a
with
bathhouse.
Yeah, it was
Honestly,
the bathhouse.
you guys
He
need
had
to
a
listen.
revelation in the bathhouse.
The bathhouse scared me.
Yep.
Were there
Changed-
bigger
that's why-
sausages
that's why
in the
you're a
bathhouse
changed
or
man.
at the food court?
Hey, can I ask you?
I saw a guy with balls to his knees.
Did you really? Make you feel better about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I literally, because I have actually been concerned because I have massive testicles and I have like a hanging problem on a warm day when I'm sitting on the.
They touch water, eh?
Mid thigh.
I have had my balls dip in the
Splash
toilet,
down.
and
Splash down.
I have had there's been
We know.
moments in my life where I've been like, this isn't normal.
should
I
have
probably
a sl-
shouldn't be feeling cold water when I sit down to take shit.
So you were amongst
And-
your people and had a
and so
revelation,
there was
and
a
you want to be a
Hungarian
better person
guy in
because
there.
of it.
He's
And
moving
he-
back to Budapest.
He took a turn and his balls swung
Around his leg. Like when you,
And I'm like,
when you
"Oh
throw
my
a slinky
God."
around the banister. Yeah.
My balls have never touched my outer thigh like that man's have.
Dude, they were like, I said he could have gone fishing with them.
Dude, I don't know if anybody has seen Lachlan's post at DeanBlundell.com. Drunk
was
blogging
great, too.
with Lach. Fucking so funny. Drunk blogging with Lachlan Cross. My top 5 European observations.
So good.
Yeah. Now, first things first is you did top 5, but you labeled them all number 1, which is
Okay.
great. So like, you got top 5 European observations. Number 1,
That was a
European
mistake.
shit tickets. Also number 1, a lot of people hungry are assholes. Also coming in at
That's
number
true.
1, you can't get normal coffee. Also coming in at number 1, the beer. Also coming in at number 1, Europe's cleaner. So,
Yeah.
why don't we start with this one? We'll just say it's 5 for fun. Europe shit tickets are awful. Explain what you meant, because you sent a picture and they looked beautiful. Like the toilet paper looked like it had flowers on it and everything.
No. It was hard. Like it was like wiping your ass with cardboard. And I didn't take Preparation H with me when I went. I had to buy some. So I did get a little bit of relief about 3 or 4 days in. But my
Wait,
ring was
Where
just
did you get the
basically-
tie-dye
Sorry.
shirt from? Where did you
I
get the
was gonna-
tie-dye?
wait, does it come with like the European, like the European H? Is it a different H? Is it like preparation, or is it a different alphabet over
Does it
there?
say prep
No,
H?
no,
Yeah.
it's a Preparation H on it. I bought
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
How much
yeah.
of it did you have to eat?
I was what? I didn't eat it.
It
I
didn't
just
go
said
over
that was the
well.
weirdest
Lead
question.
balloon.
He put it on his Hungarian sausage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
you
put
know-
it right on the ring. That, by the way, the makers of Preparation H do not get enough credit.
They do on this show.
That is
We
a
talk about it a
brilliant-
lot here.
Brilliant product.
I smell a sponsor. I actually smell it.
I was gonna say that's a worse,
guys.
worse
That is
smell.
the best product on the planet.
Okay,
No, the toilet paper is awful. It is.
So did you
it
get
is
it? You got
god-awful.
hemorrhoids from wiping your ass with the hard toilet paper?
I wouldn't say I got a hemorrhoid. It was raw.
Really hurt.
My ring was like on fire for the first
Yeah.
3 days, honestly,
Okay.
until I found Preparation H. It's like wiping your ass with napkins.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But you know what? You get a great grab of the Dagos in there too, right? Like you
That's
get like
what my
the
wife brought up. She was
Yeah.
like, "It's effective in the cleaning department," and I'm
you
like,
want to have a
"Ah."
harder toilet paper. And I tell this to my kids all the time, like, Dad, can you buy
No.
soft toilet paper? I'm like, no, son, you don't want it. What you want is harder toilet paper because it gets right in there. You can really do a good job cleaning your schmink.
Maybe I just
Okay.
need to keep
Instead of
using
going
it,
right
I'll
through
get
the fucking
used- my
toilet
ring
paper,
will
there's
get
nothing
used
worse.
to it.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean there's nothing better, Bonzi?
Okay.
There's nothing better than when you bust through that cheap toilet paper.
When I was a bachelor, all my toilet paper said Subway.
Okay, so top 5 observations. Number 1 again, a lot of people in Hungary are assholes. What do you mean?
Okay, there is no customer service. And again, I had somebody actually DM me and go, "Listen, I've been to 29 different countries, and that is not indicative of the rest of Europe." And I'm to be fair, that was my first time in Europe, so I was a little bit shocked at how.
To be fair,
Sorry, I can't help it now. I just watched it for 3 days straight, so
I was honestly shocked at how rude they are to you. Like
And this is you saying
do, yes, they do not like you there. Like they do not like.
Lachlan's
tourists.
offended about everybody now, apparently.
Yeah.
No. Listen, at the end of it, Ryan, I was honestly I appreciated it at the end. I was like, okay, because it was so fucking consistent. The women were just cows. They were just awful. And the men, like, I'm serious. It was,
Reggie's.
my wife was surprised too. Like, there was an old bastard just fucking yelling at us in Hungarian on the bus. Like,
Do you
and
see
we
the
can't-
irony
But
in that?
did you
That's
see that happening to other people?
well, no, I don't know. Like, we were not hanging around. Like, no, this isn't just me. It was me, my wife, and my daughter. Like, all three of us were being yelled at. Like, they don't like tourists.
What did you do wrong? You did something
I
wrong.
did do.
I know
Well,
there's
we
something
were
missing here. Like,
okay.
Yeah,
We
here we
were
go.
talking about that when we got off the bus. I was like, "What the fuck was that all about?" And my wife, or my daughter, said it's happened to her quite a few times. She's seen it happen to other people too. She thinks that maybe there is a certain faction of the population that doesn't want you to talk on the bus. And so we brought it up with a Hungarian tour guide who was one of the nicer guys that we met, Victor. He took us up to the highest point in Hungary. And Victor was like, no, that's not a thing. So we just think that they're fucking, they get mad at tourists. So if you're,
Because you were speaking English, maybe.
and we're clearly not from there. And,
Yeah.
And he did
We do
say
the same thing here.
Yeah, he said there is a he said there is a older, like the older generation. They're still, they went through the whole Russian thing and all that, and they are kind of mad at tourism, which is odd because it's such a beautiful country and people come from all over the world to see it. And there were some nice Hungarians. Don't get me wrong. But I was surprised at the lack of, like, they don't say anything when they come to the table. They all speak perfect English. They don't want to communicate. They're just head down, and
They get
like
on with it.
The girl on the bus tour was just a bitch. Like, it was phenomenal. It was unbelievable. She was just a cow
I know what you're
to
talking about
everybody.
too. When someone is mean to you all the time, you're like,
I was
I know
like,
what
it
to
was
expect from
refreshing.
this person. Yeah, it's very refreshing. Coming in at number 1 again on your list of European observations, you can't get a cup of fucking coffee in Hungary. Again, explain.
They don't have drip coffee. It's espresso, it's lattes, it's cappuccinos. If you want an
Your
American
little
cup
urine
of
sample
coffee-
cups.
James?
What's
Yeah.
wrong with that?
You know, it's fine. But 3 or 4 days in, I just wanted a fucking cup of coffee, like a bucket of coffee that you get. Like that's my routine. I had an espresso, the Nespresso machines in the Airbnb.
Yeah,
I had 7 of them. Right, like that. Like I just kept hitting it to get enough caffeine in me. I mean, we're trained here in Canada. Like you get the drip and you get a liter of fucking coffee, right? Like that's my routine, and I think a lot of people are like that. You can't get that at least in Hungary, and I didn't like. Even I went into Starbucks, and they've got like the Bodems behind, and I'm like, I want an American coffee, and I'm pointing at that Bodem, and she's like, we don't do that here.
Yeah,
I
just want to his French
it's
bougie
just
extra
coffee
long
at
espresso, something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you can get an extra long, but what is like
It's still only like this
instead
big,
of
though.
2 ounces,
Yeah.
it's 3 ounces, right? Like
Yeah.
I'll take 8
Like,
extra long espressos,
I want a
please.
bucket of fucking coffee, and you can't get that. They don't make it over there.
Once again, if I'm in Hungary, the one thing that I'm getting angry about is how big the coffees are.
Coffee is good. Like the coffee was fine. I just at one point, one morning, I just was fucking. I wanted just a cup of coffee. Why can't I get a fucking?
I know,
cup
because
of
we got the
coffee?
DM saying, "What the fuck is this stupid little urine cup with fucking coffee in it and about 12 other
They're all
fucks?"
walking around.
Yeah.
And when you're coming home and you're extolling the virtues of Tim Hortons, you know something was really fucking wrong. So
Terrible trip.
They're
Yeah.
Probably
Do they
terrible.
distinguish
Shame.
between Americans
We
and
didn't need-
Canadians there?
Yes. They
That's
asked me
what
if
I
I was
was gonna
American.
say.
And I
Yeah.
said, no. And we had flags. Like I told the wife, we're putting fucking flags all over everything.
tattooed on their heads.
They
I
really, they fucking hate Americans over there, don't they?
They
like
don't-
legitimately
yeah.
fucking hate
I
Americans.
wore this
Are you
cap
American?
everywhere. I wore this cap.
Yeah, we saw that in all your pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay, well, number one on your list of European observations.
We'll work.
They
on
do
WordPress
beer
on.
well,
Yeah.
and Europeans are cleaner than us. I have been to Europe. I've had European beer. I've seen European streets. You're 100% correct. Tell me about the beer. Finish off with how clean we aren't, and then we'll go from there.
I tried, like, every time I went to the grocery store, I would buy, like, the first couple of days, and then I sort of settled on a couple. Staro Premen, I think is how you say it. It's a Czech beer. That was on tap.
We doing
quite a
this
bit.
again?
What's that?
I said, are we doing this again?
What?
We can just replay Bonzi's opening of his show.
Yeah,
for the first
I'll try
35
to be
minutes
quick.
yesterday.
I'll try to be quick. And then the Budweiser Budvar.
Budva.
I had
That's
that.
the suit, the one that got sued, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've had like 100 lawsuits over the years. It's 126 years old. And I sort of gravitated towards that, and that's what I drank mostly. But it's also clean, I think, too, because I mean I was drinking some nights 6, 7, 8 tall boys in a night or in a day, and I was never hungover. Like, so
Really?
Yeah, not once. Didn't
Wow.
even
And
Not even
you didn't
stitch of
notice
behind
anybody throwing their empties on the streets over there? You didn't
No.
notice it because that doesn't have people actually like where they live over there. They
wildly
really do.
clean, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. And they build things that last too. I don't know if we talked about that on Bonzi's show yesterday, but that was the most impressive thing for me, man. Like, and again, I don't have a lot of experience. I'm not a very well-traveled person, but things are clean. There's no garbage on the fucking streets.
Gotta pay to
like,
shit.
You know what that is about? That's about geography. It's the same principle that people say. I don't know if you ever heard this, but it's really interesting. People say that the reason why Canadians say "I'm sorry" so much is because psychologically we know that we live in one of the biggest countries in the world, and therefore just weird subconscious habit that we have is that we all want our personal space. And so when someone invades our personal space, we want it back so badly that we'll apologize on behalf of them so that our space will be reestablished again. But if you look at Europe, they're all condensed. They want to be clean because they know that they don't live in a geographical area that affords them a lot of space. So
Right.
a lot of their personal habits revolve around the fact that they have a finite amount of room.
Yeah, if
know
you look
what?
where a lot of sanitation developments came over history or over from Europe. And
Well, and an extension of that too. I think I thought, and I could be wrong, that they actually are a little more compliant there with the rules revolving around COVID. And I know this is going to shock a lot of people, but there was COVID protocols in Europe as well. This isn't just something that the media fucking created here in Canada.
Oh, it's worldwide? COVID's worldwide?
Wait, you mean it's not just you on your 95.7? It's not just your fault, Lachlan?
The planes, everything.
Are there birds? You were on a plane. Is the world flat?
And the funny thing about the compliance with the masks, and I think James is onto something. I think there is a sense of, okay, well, we're like we literally live on top of each other, so I have to wear a mask or somebody else is going to get sick. I thought that, and I'm trying not to exaggerate, if we had 100 Canadians and we had 100 Hungarians, I would say that 95% of those Hungarians are wearing a mask properly, and they're wearing it where they should be. Whereas maybe 85 to 80% of Canadians are doing that.
Is this where that empathy thing came in, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe
I came back a nicer person.
Yeah. But the odd thing was, I noticed a lot more women that weren't wearing a mask. Like in the mall, like when we went to the mall, I like if you saw 10 people without a mask, like 7 of them were women. I thought that
I believe Hungarian women are looked at like second class citizens, though, from what I understand. Yeah.
Oh, and bitches, he said.
Yeah, you did say bitches.
Yeah. And cows.
But from my understanding is men get everything first and then the women second. So maybe it's a supply issue. I don't know. I'm being serious. I don't know.
Sounds like what you played on my show last night almost.
I'm not even being misogynist. I'm just saying, in Hungary, if you line up for something, the men go first and the women go second. It's a very Hungarian thing to do.
Well, and that when I told you guys on the podcast that I jumped on when I was in Hungary, and because I had that yelling match with the Hungarian in the food court who wanted me to give up my table. And then I started yelling at him back, and then he backed down right away. And
I joke later that what really happened there was that you ran into the Budapest morning DJ guy, and he was just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, possibly. No.
Foreigners coming to steal your jobs.
Somebody suggested that they might have been mad because my wife was actually taking up a seat, and that
for a man.
I was just joking.
No, it's serious.
Is that a real thing?
Ryan, you brought that up, but it's also been brought up to me a couple of times since I told that story that they are that misogynist. That
I said it just ironically.
No, it's a thing. And it's
oh my God.
It's not something you'd have to look to see it, but like men walk ahead of the women on the street, that little things like that, right?
Jesus,
like, it's a thing.
So fucked up.
Holy shit! So I was fucking around. I was so just making a joke, but oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, and that guy yelling at us on the bus, it might have been that the women were talking. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the fuck he said to us, but he was angry, right? So,
well, yeah, because you said it. You said the number one thing in your top 5 list of number one things that Hungarian people are assholes. So maybe you're right.
And it's refreshing, the consistency of it. It was so consistent that at the end of it, I was appreciative of it. Like,
I just want to point out. Smile. I just want to point out that the generalization that you just witnessed from Lachlan is okay because the last time I checked, Hungarians, white people. So it's all good now.
Holy fuck.
Just a whole fucking lot of them are worthless.
How white that country is.
All of them. Yeah, I do, because Germany is the same. It's like the whitest place. Middle Europe is like...
Yeah, most of Europe is.
You have no idea, guys. Like, you do not see anybody of color on the streets at all. Like, it's rare.
Misogynist and racist.
Yeah, I mean, I remember getting on a subway in Toronto a couple years ago when I went to visit my daughter before COVID. And I looked around, and it was me, my 2 daughters, and my wife. And we're all white. And I looked, and we were the only white people on the subway. And I'm like, what? Holy fuck, this is crazy. Like, we're the minority. And over there, no.
Yeah.
The entire
coming
population.
from Alberta, too, like, there isn't a colored person within or person of color, pardon me, within the 20 store.
That's not true.
Come on, dude. Alberta,
Alberta's pretty white, but not like Hungary.
It's
like,
way whiter than Toronto. Hungary is super white.
Toronto
is Middle Europe.
You are a minority. If you're white in Toronto, you are a fucking minority.
Okay.
You are less than half the population.
But if you take away Fort Mac and the oil sands, then it's like 99% white, right?
Yeah, but Newfies aren't. You can't include them. I know they're white, but
I think you thought it was refreshing. The asshole thing was because they're blatantly like upfront about being an asshole. Here, like in Western culture, it's like we're very passive aggressive in our assholey.
Yeah, that's why Locke came home a nicer fella and all apologetic because he was beat up by the assholes over in Hungary.
Yeah, it's more work for us to decode.
Yeah,
more work for us to decode the assholes.
I do not like Hungarian Lachlan. I like
I don't either.
Lachlan better. Like Hungarian Lachlan came back going, I feel sorry for Bonzi, and I'm like, what the fuck? No one says that.
No, I didn't say I felt sorry for Bonzi. I wanted everybody to take stock of what happened.
And then you're like,
because it was abusive.
I believe the anti-vaxxers. I believe we're in the Matrix. She said that like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, Ryan. Fuck. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna test Locke's theory about this
the next
movie.
Bonzi.
Okay, we're gonna test Locke's theory about this movie. You need to sit down, pour yourself a 40 Creek or whatever the hell it is.
40 Creek, yep.
40 Creek. Pour yourself a stiff 40 Creek and sit down and watch The Matrix over the next couple of days.
I will.
And you tell me what you think. You got a guy that's not stoned ever, and you got a guy that's stoned all the time, and we both said something very similar about that Matrix movie. I think it's more brilliant than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah, agreed.
Bonzi, you said you haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't.
Maybe we'll save it for when you're here. We'll watch it together.
Let's do that.
We'll get Bonzi stoned. I'll get drunk, and we'll watch the movie, and we'll come back and talk about it.
That's a great idea.
I do want to finish with some great news, everybody. I don't know if this is great news. James will say it's not great news. I think it's great news. But our friend Chris Sky has been legitimately banned from Twitter forever. So this happened yesterday. I tweeted, hey, quote, just hate to see it. R.I.P. Chris Sky. His account is gone. Shortly after he put up that account, he put up this account. This is now gone. Meet the Skies. He's tried to put up 7 different Twitter accounts since being banned. And this has shook the world, believe it or not. And I'm kind of embarrassed that it has, because I think we started it.
I think so too.
Like, I'm pretty sure.
We definitely fed it.
Oh, dude, we fanned the flames of idiocy for sure, and it was my pleasure. But Chris Guy is kind of our responsibility, because we brought him to the forefront and into mainstream media, and now he is the number 2 and has been for 3 straight days. Believe it or not, because he got kicked off of Twitter, he's basically been martyred. He's been trending for almost 3 days, 2 days. He's been the number 2 trending human being, anything in Canada, because his Twitter account has been banned. I can't fucking figure out why. I don't understand.
Everybody keeps on sharing his new accounts and saying, "This is where he is. Go report it. This is where he is."
Is that what we become? Like I know he is legitimately an idiot. Like, I know he's a legitimate piece of shit, grifter, dumb fuck. But like, are people really that bored that they spend that kind of time following him around, looking for different ways that he might pop up on social media just to crush the guy? And again, I'm not unhappy, because it's a great story and it makes me laugh because we were the people that brought this to the forefront. But like, I don't agree. Part of me doesn't agree with it. Do you know what I mean?
I don't agree,
Jamesy, part of me doesn't agree with the fact that he can't even log on to a Twitter account now because they've got him tagged. Like, Twitter did that to Donald Trump. If you remember, it's called the Donald Trump ban.
Done it to Trump.
Yeah, is that part of the reason he is so? Because you say it's people who want to come on there and slag him and stuff, but I think he actually does have some following that believes that this is horrendous, because he is losing his full freedom of speech and right to speak his own mind on what he believes about his COVID beliefs and stuff. So a lot of people are, I think, jumping on that aspect too.
There's all these colliding worlds, right? So it's like private enterprise is colliding with an idea of free speech, and really one has nothing to do with the other. At the end of the day, they're a private company; they can get rid of whoever they want. But the greater thing is that I mean, he's an asshole. He's an idiot. He's really kind of like, he's kind of sad in a sense, you know, in the sense that I don't think he knows how much of a clown he is. But I don't know, like the principle that I always like to follow is sunlight is the best disinfectant, and people should just have the right to be as dumb as they want, as long as they don't threaten anybody with violence. So I don't know, you know, this is like another one of those things where big tech plays social engineering role in our lives. And one day, by the way, forget big tech, one day a conservative government is going to be in power, and they're going to go the other way on this shit, and people like Karima are going to get banned. You know, it's gonna like things like that are going to happen.
You're right. It could go either way. And I agree with James, and I didn't agree with James.
That's part of the reason why I don't agree with that. That's exactly why I'm concerned about it.
Yeah, I didn't agree with James in the beginning of the year on this, and I do now. And it's the fact that all we have to do is do what we did with Trump in the beginning, and that was, if he actually does say something that is factually misleading, label it. Everything else, let him say whatever the hell he wants. Who cares?
Trump was different because of the incitement.
I did.
The incitement angle of Trump was a little bit different. When he was telling people to go fight, that the election was stolen, you're the leader of the free world. That is a totally different thing than someone else saying it. So I
get Trump that, James, but I don't think, like, the thing that I had a problem with banning Trump was that it doesn't fix anything. It just inflames that side. It just makes it worse. So I understand and I get why they did it. He was breaking every rule and they were letting him get away with it for a long, long time. He was like, every rule they had in fucking Twitter, he broke it every day. Like every fucking day he broke it.
Yeah.
The problem that with blocking him was that group of that follow him, that think he's some sort of fucking savior or for whatever. By blocking him, they don't go, oh, okay, yeah, he was wrong. No, it just
worked though.
Triples, or it makes it 10 times worse. Maybe we've just gotten him out of the public eye, but you talk to anybody that spent any time in the United States, James, it's not better. It's way worse.
I agree. I think Trump's influence has come and gone. So I don't think that's why when he put out his own blog, remember that he put out his own.
Yeah, no one looked at it.
No one cared. But the Trump like influence on these people is just that he was the bookend to a new chapter of crazy that came after Sarah Palin and the Tea Party and all that shit. And so he became this whole new chapter within those chapters of crazy. And they just now kind of adopted a Trumpian stamp. Like, remember those wax seals that like kingdoms used to do for letters and stuff that they'd give to the ravens? Now his name is on that stamp, and when they send each other messages, that's how they roll. They roll in a mega kind of way. But he doesn't have a personal influence anywhere close to what he used to. And that's because big tech has made sure that he wouldn't. I'm positive.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Jamesy said. Like, there was a blog post, and this was when Donald Trump was doing a blog. And I remember it specifically, it was about a year ago. And they were like, he's going to shut his blog down because his last blog post had like 80,000 page views. And I remember thinking about going through our analytics, and we had one blog post the same day that did 110. And I was like, it's fucking like, it's over. Like, no one, and big tech legitimately did that to him. Now with the Chris, and it's different because he was inciting a country to do violent things. Chris wasn't inciting anybody to do violent things, but you could make the argument that he was, like going to West Edmonton Mall. Remember that video he put on a Telegram?
Toronto Eaton Center.
I'm bringing my own security. Toronto Eaton Center, same thing.
How'd that go?
Terrible. And what followed him after he would tweet something out was traditionally some chaos and a couple of arrests. Like, dude's been arrested 19 times in the last 2 years. 19 times. So he's a bad dude. We know he's a fucking shitty individual. But my opinion is, and I've kind of always been like this, like, people should be allowed to say what they want, and other people should be allowed to make a commitment to that, no matter who they are or what they are. Right now, having said that, if someone was like, hey, we need to kill all the Jews and go full Nazi again, I would be like, okay, let's deplatform that guy.
Yes,
like, there are certain things and extremes that you're like, no. That guy's too mentally unwell. And I think that's what it came down to for Chris. If you remember last week, every single one of his tweets started to get a little crazier and crazier. They started to get more misspelt, and the grammar was awful, and nothing fucking made any sense.
None.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he gets banned. And this comes after he has sewered some toy store in Edmonton, some poor people that are just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
He's
And all they
caused
did was they said they didn't want to have anything to do with them.
Yeah, that's all they
They
said.
were trying to do like charity work and like good things.
They were like,
and he
no,
fucked it.
I don't
Yeah.
want, they don't want a connection with his name. And
Yeah.
that's, and then he's shitting all over him. Yeah.
But what everybody in this call and everybody on this podcast, and what Chris is so fucking stupid, what people aren't talking about is these are private enterprises. And when you fucking fill out an application or you activate an account, you check a box in there, and that box says, hey, listen, at any point in time, if we don't like anything you do, we can fucking fire your account into the sun and ban you from this forever. Forever. And I don't know how that Dick Wallet got away with it as long as he did, because I've watched people get banned for life for way less. Like, way less. And you shouldn't have to be worried about it. Like, if you're a human being and you're on social media, and someone pops up into your timeline with big old fucking teeth. And by the way, I took great pleasure in making sure that every time I put up a post about him, I found the worst possible picture I could find with the most teeth.
I noticed that. You're like my promo department when they do billboards. I always look, my eyes are too close together. I look like I should be wearing a blue helmet and taking a short bus to the mall on Saturdays. Like every picture. You should see the one for the New Year's Eve show. I just look like a tool.
These are the last 3 posts. Look at it. I would stop the video at a point where he was showing as much teeth as possible, and then I would put it up as the promo because I fucking loved it.
Dude has napkin-sized Crest white strips,
right?
You know?
Yeah, it's like a bounty strip.
But my point is that I think people should be allowed to fuck up their own lives and make all their terrible decisions. And it doesn't matter. Like, there's extremes. I don't think he touched the extreme. I thought he was fucking entertaining. Like, I looked at everything he did as entertaining. And then I'm watching people tweet, it's been my mission to get him banned. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? You spent time on this?
Yeah,
like,
so what are you going to do now? What are you going to watch now?
Well, with the change in, is it Dorsey? Ryan, what's the name of the guy that just walked away?
Jack Dorsey.
So, with Jack walking away from Twitter and the new guy, I think there is a more concerted effort to stop misinformation on Twitter.
See, I thought it was the other way around. To tell you the truth,
it's more ideological now. It's more woke now.
Yeah.
It's a little more woke, a little bit more. Yeah, it's going to swing a little more left. Whereas I think Dorsey still had a real strong toehold in the free speech kind of thing. Like what Dean,
he wasn't seen that way. He wasn't seen that way at the time.
But he was.
He was seen
comparatively
as like,
speaking.
Well, he was,
James.
but he wasn't, because like when it came to certain issues, and I know you guys hate it when I bring this up, but like I got a 3-day suspension once for calling that Jessica Yaniv person. I called him Jonathan Yaniv because I happen to believe that person is a male predator, and I got suspended for 3 days. And this is a guy that like literally was like being investigated. This guy was literally being investigated for sexual assault, trying to prey on women or little girls and taking pictures in change rooms and shit like that. And I'm like, and I appealed it and I won. But at the time, Jonathan Kay was the one to tell me, he's like, oh, I'm surprised you won, because like everybody that I've seen that has gotten banned, even if it's for a few days, have been women saying that this is actually a man. And so that the issue that Twitter was known for by a lot of people. Remember Megan? Is her name Megan Murphy? She was like this feminist out of like Vancouver who did like this talk about how trans women and women are not the same thing, yada yada. Anyway, she got banned for life just for having that opinion, right? So it's like
there's a couple of situations like that, examples of like that where people have been, what do they call that? Something dead naming somebody or
dead name. What was that guy's name? Remember that blonde gay guy, Yiannopoulos?
Milo.
Milo got banned for some kind of weird shit like that too. He wasn't like saying like let's kill people or whatever, let's rape people, this, that, or the other thing, but he was saying some shit that you probably didn't agree with. But he also
Milo's gay, isn't he? Like
not anymore.
Yeah, apparently he found God And,
he found God, and now he's into conversion therapy. So his whole goal is to run around and convert as many homosexuals back into straight people as possible.
Is that's a big swing, isn't it?
Well, it's a big one. It's like coming up to you, Locke, going, "Hey, bud, what we'd really like you to do is fit into this child's bobsleigh outfit."
Yeah,
and we want you to be vegan.
And we'd like you to like men now, Lachlan.
Yeah, and by the way, you are disgusted by alcohol. That's the same thing. It's like
spritzers now instead of beer.
Yeah, spritzers. Yeah, coolers.
Shanties.
Yeah, it's weird.
What does this do to him, though? What do you think? Do you think this energizes him on other platforms?
Chris?
Chris.
No,
Chris.
he's too lazy and disjointed, I think.
Well, he released a statement. Yeah. Do you want to watch his statement?
Did he?
Oh,
yeah. Could we?
Please.
Wait, is this the one where he predicts that the sun's going to come up tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
he's like, a lockdown in January is coming. It's like, yeah, they kind of announced that. I think
have money for more.
So this is Chris's response. He put this out on Telegram. One of the few. Karima sent it to me yesterday. Karima Saad, who's joining us for our New Year's Eve show, our cathartic
New Year's. Yeah, we got a promo of that
10
too.
o'clock right here. Yeah. But this is his response to being banned, and you'll never guess. Yes, that's right. Poisoned kids is his reason. Poisoned kids.
This is going to prove to be one of the most important videos I've ever made. Mark my words. In the last day and a half, they've banned my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and they have a relentless campaign on to silence me harder than ever before. Why? It's very simple. They know I'm about to expose their next plan, which is the most massive and harshest lockdown of this entire pandemic that's going to be happening starting in early January. They're going to hit you hard and fast, pull the rug right from out from under you. They're going to lock you down whether you're double jab, single jab, unjab. And they're going to tell you the only way out of this, the only way to ever get any semblance of normality or your freedom back is to just submit to that booster. And the reality is the exact opposite. They will do everything they can to try to force that third shot of poison into your body and to make you put poison into your children's bodies. And they know that if they can't get about 85% of you people to be stupid enough to do it, their pandemic, their control scheme is done. So they're trying to silence me harder than ever before because they know that the freedom fighters are more awake and more aware and more plentiful than ever before. There are more people now than ever ready to just say no to that booster. And when we do, this is over, and they know it. So do not let them silence you. I'm telling you, the next month or two are going to be the hardest of the entire pandemic. They're going to make sure of it. They're going to do everything they can to shut me up and make you take that shot. Just say no.
Twitter's shutdown has been exposed, by the way. Twitter's shutdown of the world has been exposed by Chris Sky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank God. That level of narcissism and delusion is just fucking fantastic.
Isn't it awesome? That's why I'm sad he's gone.
Yeah, no, he's gold. His content is making fun of him is so much fun. And what's up with the driving too? By the way, while filming this, he couldn't wait until he got home or something.
He's not driving. He's in the back seat. Yeah, or the back seat. Yeah, no, somebody else drives. He doesn't have a driver's license.
Don't move or anything. So
no.
He lost. There's like an overlap, right, between him and Slapinski. You know what I mean? Like there's that glint in their eye where they're like they just want to see how far they can keep the attention on them.
You saw it right at the beginning of that video. If you watch it again,
too, though.
He laughs at himself as he's saying, "This is the most important," and you see his face shift. It's almost like he has to contain.
Well, it's only because every video he's put out prior to this is the most important video he'll ever put out.
Yeah.
Like this is the 50th most important video he's ever put out. What's that, Bonds?
Has he admitted he's been vaccinated or he's never?
Yeah,
numerous times.
Vaccinated. Yeah, so he lied in there too. But dude, this is again. I'm sad. I'm sad because I'll miss it. I'll miss this crackpot bullshit. I actually enjoyed it.
He's so dumb.
He's send him a message.
He's so dumb. He probably doesn't sell merch because he can't afford the garbage bags anymore.
Dean, you have his private info. Send him a message and tell him just send me the videos. We'll play them. It's fine.
Yeah, I do. I've got his email address.
Send it. Send him just on.
Yeah,
We'll
tell him
I
we'll
can't
play
do
them
it.
all.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I just listen, Twitter, before you start taking off all the funny guys,
Yes.
relax.
Shut up.
Take it easy. Okay.
Let it
Fucking with their
happen.
ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I want is a little bit of that from time to time. Like I get it. I'm happy to move on into 2022 with a little less crazy, but I don't find that stuff not entertaining, right?
No.
Last week he was legitimately went on a Twitter tangent about his new Skechers.
His lifted
That's
shoes.
the greatest.
Dude, you missed it when you're in Hungary. He did an entire fucking thread on the fact that he had to buy new shoes because the cops stole his laces, and he had to buy lift shoes to give him the extra 4 inches of height.
Inch and a half.
Yeah, they were literally
Yeah.
bragging.
Even
about Jimmy
it,
doesn't
too.
wear lifts.
Yeah, and he's a midget.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we did some good work again here today, boys.
Oh my God.
That was
Folks,
a
you
fun
can go
one.
and that was good. You can go and read Locke's drunk blogging with Lachlan Cross at deanblundell.com.
I'll send
his
it out
top
again.
5 European. Yeah, do it. I think it's great. It's fucking really good. You can
It
also
was
see
really good.
Chris Sky responding with that video. You can also see my assholes of 2021. Number 4 today was Randy Hillier. Go check it out. That's at deanblundell.com as well. But we're back tomorrow, guys. Thanks for doing this.
videos.
Yeah, it's a blast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Bonzi. Really appreciate you being here.
Fuck you, Bonzi, and fuck
Shut the
you,
fuck
Lachlan.
up, Bonzi.
Fuck you.
Double gun salutes to all you motherfuckers. Happy New Year.
I think you're doing a great job, Bonzi.
I don't like woke Lachlan. Woke Lachlan should.
That's my new
Go back
friend,
to
Wolf
Europe.
Lachlan from Budapest. All I had to do was take over his house, sit in his tub.
See what
and
happens?
Release
You-
my
you-
fisher.
You
Put
did
some helium balloons and a case of beer in
Lachlan's
Lachlan's house. It becomes your fucking
all
defense
fucked.
lawyer.
That's a good point. He bought me 24.
That's
Like,
true.
Did he
I would
really?
have had to. I
Yeah.
would have had to go to Costco this week.
For a bridge pack, but Bonzi took care of him. I took care of
Bonzi
him.
Bridge. The Bonzi Bridge.
Bonzi Bridge pack.
Dude, Bonzi bought everybody in the house a gift, didn't he? Before
He
he
bought
left?
my daughter a bottle of gin for apparently no reason. Yeah,
Ask him where he got.
She
the
was
idea.
coming home, and it was Christmas, and she's coming home to an empty house.
You're a
So I
good
bought
man,
some nice
Bonzi.
balloons and a
Ask
Ask
bottle
him
of
where he
gin.
got the idea.
Dean,
Ask
don't do
Bonzi.
it. Let him have it.
Lachlan.
Where'd
Ask
you
him
get
where
the
he got
idea,
the
Bonzi?
See,
for
this
gift.
is Captain Dean. Thinks he's all Mr. Big Guy. I was already had this plan going. He mentioned,
No, he
"Oh,
didn't.
Bonzi,
That's
you
right,
should do
Bonzi.
this." I was like, "Dean." He failed
Yeah.
to mention this, but I said, "Dean, I already have this plan in place."
That's right.
No, he
You
didn't.
defend yourself,
Yeah.
Bonzi.
I
Yeah, I was
am
gonna say-
going to defend myself this time.
No, listen.
I
You
get-
wouldn't.
He
You
tried
wouldn't
to
have.
Aggressive on his
Bonzi,
show.
my
That's a good
shit.
idea.
Bonzi, I'm talking. Flock, you wouldn't have
Well, but
24 beers in your. I'm still talking. You wouldn't have 24 beers in
Thank-
your fridge if it wasn't
Dean.
for me.
Thank
Bonzi told me like a week
Bullshit.
before Lachlan left that he was going to get something for Lachlan and his whole family for Christmas. So
thanks, James.
No one
no
listening believes you, James.
I know.
No, they do. They do. Because I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I am super nice, Bonzi. I do these things. Look, his neighbors love me more than they love Lachlan
That's
now. I
true.
shoveled.
But they
their
hate
shit.
You want to
Lachlan.
talk about? Oh, hang on. No, but Lachlan, more empathy for your neighbors. Let's hear about how empathetic you are with your neighbors.
Fuck that.
Let's save
Ah,
it for tomorrow.
see? Oh,
Let's save it for tomorrow. We'll talk about the neighbor's story tomorrow because Bonzi fucked him. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for
Fuck
me,
Lachlan.
you would not have booze in your house. Thank you. You're welcome. Bonzi, just admit it. Every good
No, I'm not
idea
going
you
to
have
admit it
comes
this
from
time.
me.
No, it's not all about you every single day, Dean. You commandeered my show
wow.
last
See what you
night.
did, Lachlan? See what you fucking did?
You
And
tell
I'm
him,
sticking
Bonzi.
up for myself. That was my fucking idea to get you guys gifts, and Dean now is trying to
Bonzi.
get
Lachlan's
nice.
Frankenstein.
Like,
You know
Bonzi,
what? It
even-
was very
even though
nice,
right
even if
now,
it was
Bonzi-
Dean's idea.
Bonzi,
This is
even though right
Lachlan's
now you remind me
Frankenstein.
of Spider and Goodfellas, and you're probably going to get shot soon.
I'm not
still
sure if I've
support
ever
it.
seen that movie either in full, so I'll have to go watch
Hey,
it.
Tommy,
What?
why
I
don't you go
love that
fuck
movie.
yourself?
We can watch that one
What do
too.
you watch? What do you
I
watch?
love
You
that
haven't
movie.
seen The Matrix? You haven't seen Goodfellas?
Sports, a lot of sports. I'm a
Okay.
sports
Okay.
guy.
Goodfellas is when you get to my house. Okay, please.
Yeah,
All right.
okay. All right, I'll save
let's
that
do
one.
Goodfellas for James. We'll do Shroomies and watch Goodfellas.
You
Fuck
take
it,
a
I
money?
like it.
What do you mean, like clown? Fucking brilliant.
What am I
See
here
what
to
you, this is
fucking
this is
amuse you?
Lachlan's
Tell me,
Frankenstein. This is
what's
what's
so fucking
happening.
funny about me?
This is Lachlan crosses Frankenstein.
What
I
kind of
just
person
like
are
to
you,
say,
Henry?
I think Rookie officially beat my record of no words spoken on the show. Definitely past 44
Forgot
minutes.
he was there.
I checked out like 40 minutes ago.
He's playing Sudoku, remember?
He fucking did the whole book of Sudoku. It's already done.
I
He's
thought he was a
finished.
logo in the corner. I was like,
2 hours. Jesus Christ. What is it, the Titanic or the Dean Blundell show? Come on, boys.
I like that.
wow.
Showing a little leg there.
Hey, little Lachlan.
Jeez, eh?
So anyway, it was a great show.
Little long.
No, it wasn't. It was awesome because we had some things to get to. Like, Lachlan had to work through whatever weird period he was having, which is fucking bizarre. So it was
literally his period.
I think we did some good work here today.
We did. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, by the way, Lachlan, for the cruise promo thing that you mailed me. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, mine too. It's on my fridge.
Did you get a Christmas card, James?
Yes, we
No,
did.
I didn't. I was just trying to put you
Oh,
on
you had
the
to
spot.
sign up
either.
for
Don't
it.
feel bad. Everybody
Yeah,
else.
you had
Did
to
you have to
sign
sign
up
up for it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did. But if I get any extras, I'll make sure that I put one.
They're
and
awesome.
Just mail it to Killaloo. Killaloo.
Yeah, do
Bald guy.
Just right,
Totally.
Give it
James.
to me. I'll
Yeah.
deliver it for him.
Yeah.
The guy with the plantation on the north end of Killaloo. It'll just show up.
By the way, good news, guys. We'll talk about this maybe tomorrow too. The shaved/bald look is going to be a big fad. in
Look at
2022.
this.
Yeah. So we've got everybody's covered
Fuck
here.
them.
That article
This
comes
see?
out every fucking 5 years. It really does.
Yeah.
I got some fucking real angry. I got some Lachlan Cross thoughts about
Anger.
that. Real
Yeah.
angry ones.
What about
That's right.
a
Oh, yeah.
white bald
Well, you
head?
should get mad
That's good.
too, Lachlan, and I'll tell you why tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So we'll
right.
see everybody tomorrow. Bonzi, thanks for hanging in there. Chris, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. We'll have you back tomorrow as well. And,
I enjoy you guys.
Love you
we
guys.
enjoy you too. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. That is James.
I'll see you
that is
Thursday,
Ryan,
guys.
That is Chris. I'll see you Thursday, big fella.
Take care, man.
That is Bonzarelli, who totally stole my idea to buy gifts for Lachlan. He did.
I know.
He
I
did.
know he did.
He did. Dude, I gave you the idea. Yeah.
Don't
I
you
did.
start. You wouldn't have bought that.
In
Look,
there.
you did.
You know he wouldn't have. He'd have just breezed right out of there.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
See you, buddy. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Where the fuck were you during the podcast?
Last 40 minutes, I checked out all the Chris
Why?
Sky stuff. I'm leaving him in 2021. I got nothing to say.
Oh, you
on
didn't
that
want
guy,
anything to do with it. I get it.
except he looks like D. Snyder in this.
That's a picture of him when he was like 25. You know what he looks like? He looks like a cult leader in that picture, which is what he
Oh,
is, right?
I don't know
No,
if
he's
you've
a
ever
fucking
tried to
cult
get
leader.
a word in edgewise when Lachlan's on the show, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah, he had a crisis of fucking faith there during that podcast, didn't he? I love it.
And he has such a large voice and just goes, "Rap, rap, 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 rap," and then
Yeah.
it just,
I love listening to him. I was
Just
really
the
happy to
passenger.
hear him. Today I watched Lachlan go like this. I want to be a better person.
Shit. I was changing everybody's names the whole time. Lachlan
I
was
know.
Mr. Technology. Ryan was I Love Arby's.
Yeah, I know.
Just having some fun behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was good. We have a New Year's Eve show, and it is going to be Friday, which is, I believe, New Year's Eve. Correct?
Not Chris Sky. It's my name. Nope.
Uh-uh.
Not Chris
I'm
Sky.
looking forward to it too. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because what is anybody really doing on New Year's? this year?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No one's doing anything. Everybody's staying home. It was the same thing with Christmas. I got 10 people going, "Hey, should we do a Christmas Day show?" I'm like, "Get the fuck no, you shouldn't." But everybody's going to be at home, and so what we're going to do is on New Year's Eve we're going to have a cathartic evening from 10 to 12. Kareem is going to be here. The entire gang will drop in. We're going to interview lawyers. We're going to interview movers and shakers. Mubin Shake's going to join us. Put a little hook out to Danko Jones. See if he can come and join us as well to talk
Sky?
about. I'll put the hook out to him. I'll send him an email. Yeah. Hey, man, I want to come on the show. Did I cut your legs out from underneath you for the past year? Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Did I ruin your life? Probably.
Hey.
But do you want to come on the show? But we're going to do a big thing where it's like we're literally going to look back on all the shit from 2021, like all the bullshit, the Chris Skies of the world, the Randy Hilliers of the world. There he is, Thor, the god of wieners. But we're going to look back on the Schadenfreude too, and we're going to talk about the things that happened this year that we're happy to leave in the past, so we can look ahead to 2022 with a fresh slate and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm done with it. I'm done with all the COVID. I'm done with all the case counts. I'm done with all that stuff. I'm like, hey, listen, who's in the hospital? Who isn't? Let me get on with my life, and let's just segment the world into different societies.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I had nothing to say about Lachlan's European adventures or Chris Sky. So I played Sudoku
Did you
live
ever?
on the show.
Did
what
you
they
get
call-
that for these podcasts?
This is what they call good entertainment. I think is what they call it. Great podcasting.
Excellent
Like what
stuff.
I've heard. what I've heard. All right.
Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. That's our head of production, not Chris Guy. That is Chris Rook.
Not Chris Guy.
No, he's like my bestie. He's my guy. He's awesome. Does everything. He's smarter than me. Always do that. Always surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. Chris, smarter than me. Maybe not, actually. Probably not. I might be the smartest person I know. Probably am. Not that guy. That guy's a fucking idiot. But I'll miss him. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being part of the show. We really appreciate it. You can get us at deanblundell.com. Thanks to our friends and sponsors, our friends over at Easy Auto Financial, making it super easy for you to get in a car. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Sign up today. You'll get free financing. Don't charge you for anything. And if you're in the market for a car, they'll help you take care of all that stuff, too. It legitimately is turnkey. And free financing? No one gives free financing. These guys get free financing. Check them out. All credit is good credit. Go to easyautofinancial.ca. No obligation. Our friends at Ed's Fine Imports, Merry Christmas to them. Awesome people. I think they've got this massive Boxing Week sale, too. It's like 50% off the entire store. 50% off the entire store. Boxing Week, edsfineimports.com. Check them out. They're in Markham. You'll love them. They also got Gitch. You can order online. Massive menswear store. Clothing for men and boys. edsfineimports.com. Check them out today. Promo code GITCH3 will get you a free pair of underwear, too. You're welcome. You're welcome. And our friends at Domination, dominate with your content with domination.com, dmntn.com. It's AI for people that like to produce content, makes it super easy, minutes instead of hours. Takes forever to like go back and cut up an old promo and then put it out so people can see it. This stuff does it for you. You don't have to do anything, and it's free to try, and it'll help you immeasurably save hours doing content and promos that you don't want to do. Try them today. They're fucking awesome. dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. Free to try. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. Right here, 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.